All right. Welcome back, guys. This is DDP, Darreck Kirby, back again for another episode of Dallas Prospect Live, episode 20. I'm joined, of course, by Law Nation, and here in a bit, we'll be joined by our man, Big Game James. And we got some interesting Cowboys stuff to talk today. A little bit of news on Dak Prescott and his change of agent, what that could mean for his presumed deal next summer, as well as the NFL Top 100 and why on earth Travis Frederick wouldn't have been rated. Beyond that, is Jaylon Smith hinting, I should say, at a potential reunion with Dez Bryant? We have all of that and more. Law, how are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. It's a wonderful time, man, out here, especially the off season. We do know that we all have our reservations on this team during this time because of the off the field situation, especially with the Dallas Cowboys. We always have to keep one eye open on the news and one eye shut and trying to get some rest. But outside of that, I'm just ready to get some Cowboys talking going.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's been it feels like it's been a little while. I've been doing a bunch of Mavs content lately, and so it's always nice when I can as much as I love doing that, it's always nice to kind of step back into the Cowboy realm and talk some Cowboys.
No doubt, man. I like the kid Dennis Smith from last year. So, second year, I saw those
Yep.
numbers. So, it is what it is. But moving over to the Cowboys football talk, the agency for Dak Prescott speaks volumes to me. I think that Dak Prescott trying to figure out ways to get more money.
Yeah,
And
of
rightfully
course.
so, 22 and what, 10? And one can argue 22 and 9. It's not
Yeah,
bad. So hopefully this year, everybody already know that we have a lot of people that don't like Dak Prescott production and don't like his readings. But this year is everything for him. I think that this third year, that's when you see the growth factor of a quarterback. And I'm really ready to see what he's going to do is spreading that ball around.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dak's shift in agent, it's a preemptive move, of course, and it's not entirely uncommon. In fact, if anything, it's a little bit ahead of schedule. Usually, you see the guy do that right before negotiations or early on in negotiations if they don't like the way it's going. So it's interesting that he would make the switch now. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for the Cowboys that he did it. It's not like Dez going with Rock Nation. I'm trying to remember the firm Dak went with. I think it's CAA is what it is, like Creative Artists something. And I don't know that it's a more difficult to deal with agent. It's not like the old days with what was his name, Boris Scott. Is that the name of that agent? I think he might have been more of an NBA and baseball guy than football, but just a notorious agent that was just a hard ass and pinched you for every dollar, squeezed you for every cent he could get in negotiations. I don't think that's necessarily what the Cowboys have to worry about here, but I do think Dak is getting someone that he thinks might be a little more aggressive in getting him what he frankly has earned to this point.
Yeah, and it's scary to a degree when you're talking about money. I go back to the saying that we have yet to see a big time quarterback with big contracts win a Super Bowl. We
Mm-hmm.
know that the padded contract that the not Tampa Bay. I'm thinking about TB Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
That's synonymous. It's not even synonymous with Tampa Bay, but it's just crazy because we know that Tom Brady had the worked out deal within the organization of having some type of money coming in from the stadium revenue of him selling his own product at the stadium, at Patriots Stadium, whatever. So we know
Hmm.
for sure, and that's just me just throwing that out there, but he do have some type of inner workings. That's Tom Brady. That's the Patriots. That's the Cheatriots. We all know about that, right?
Sure, sure.
But neither, I'm not trying to throw salt on them. But just name me a quarterback that won a Super Bowl that got paid the big money.
Yeah, no, that is a tough thing. I mean, usually you see the guy get his big payday after the fact because you look at, for instance, Flacco, right?
Hmm.
He got the Super Bowl, immediately got paid. They have not been anywhere near it. That's the problem with it is your whole thing, right? I understand wanting to get your value, but what you risk in the process is making it so that your team isn't as able to compete when they're having to pay you, the quarterback, 25 million plus or something, and you're eating up just a huge chunk of that cap by yourself. When you got to build out a roster of 53 guys, that's incredibly like burdensome. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things that's to your point why you haven't seen a guy making just insane top of the league money as a quarterback, winning Super Bowls year in, year out. Your exceptions, and Brady gives discounts all the time. I mean, hell, with his wife being the ridiculous supermodel she is, she out earns him anyway. So that's probably about the closest example you can get, because I think even when Aaron Rodgers won his, he still wasn't on his big money deal.
Right, and like you said, Joe Flacco betted on himself, and Eli. I don't know Eli. I don't know whether or not it was after he pretty much his defense, pretty much made him get to that Super Bowl. So Eli just now getting his big money, but it wasn't the fact that it was like this mega contract. And we saw what happened when Tony Romo went and got that big contract too as well. We just didn't have the pieces to put around him.
Yeah, I mean that would have been the year, right? Romo, he was already on that big contract, 2014. That would have been potentially a year for that to be an exception, but it just didn't quite work out the way we needed it to. So it's interesting. I don't know. Anthony Smith in the chat is saying Rodgers was making good money. He wasn't on his stupid rich deal in 2010 when they won. He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't on that deal quite yet. Or I think he literally signed it after winning it, right?
Hey,
or it was like the next offseason, maybe
something of that.
Yeah, I mean that's usually how it works, right? It was the same with Flacco. You got the Super Bowl here, have all the money as a reward, and it kills your ability to really roster build moving forward. Most cases, I don't think it's necessarily a death knell if you have like a really good, really young team around that quarterback, but it definitely hamstrings you to a certain extent.
It does, and unless you just make it wild and go for it, like the Denver Broncos did when they picked up Peyton Manning. They said, okay, we're going to make some moves from free agency to make sure that this defense is everything that Peyton Manning needs. And that's what happened. And we saw what happened as far as the Super Bowl. And and we see that, the salary cap era is a fickle process. Either you're going to be extremely high on one end. The main thing is balance. It's in life too as well. The main thing is balance in life. And that's the main thing with this pretty much salary cap era. If you can find a way to have your defense still top 10 and somehow pay your quarterback not the major contract, but still have your quarterback paid in the sense if you have a top tier quarterback and still surround pieces around him. And I guess the only way that you can cut that out is if you just don't go out there and pay the wide receiver that mega money, because we have yet to see a big mega wide receiver pay wise win a Super Bowl too as well.
Yeah, that brings up an interesting question too. Really, at what position anywhere do you have the guy who is making top tier, like top end of the league money, lead his team to it? Maybe offensive line could be an exception, but in a lot of cases, when you have one or more guys making that top end money, like that elite class money, it makes it difficult. That's why parity isn't just with regard to how like the draft works and the league and how it tries to balance it, where it's supposed to be cyclical and every year you have about a 50% turnover in the playoff team picture. Same kind of thing with the contract. If you have a generally decent balance, I'm not saying like everyone makes the same money. Obviously, you can't do that. Right. But some kind of balance where you're not paying a quarterback like Dak. I like Dak. I do. He does have a lot to prove. I am right now, as it stands this moment, very nervous of the prospect of handing him $25 million a year. And I'm afraid that's going to be something in the ballpark of what he's getting, 20 to 25 million moving forward on this new deal. With what I've seen so far, that does scare me, just because I'm like, if you're making that money, you really got to be in that mold of a guy. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how his progression and development comes along, and if he can at least prove that he's warranting of that kind of money. And even then, I think it puts you at a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yes, indeed. And then you think about this too as well. You got Derek Carr contract out there. You're talking about other teams. You got the Matt Ryan contract. And would you rather have those two contracts, or would you rather have like a Kirk Cousins type of contract?
What was the first one? It was Matt Ryan and who?
Darreck Carr. Is it Darreck Carr or David?
Derek. David's the older brother.
David. I keep getting those guys mixed up.
Yeah, David was the Houston Texan when they first came on the scene. Would I rather have the Carr or Ryan money versus the Kirk Cousins? The beauty of the Kirk Cousins is, isn't it like a 2-year deal?
Yeah, it's like all the
so it's a ton of money,
yeah.
But it's really short term. So like in terms of like financial future building, I say that, I think. But in terms of the long sense, I probably would tell you, if I were to look at it just on the surface value of what those guys are, I would tell you of those three, I'd most probably want Matt Ryan. But it's one of those things where I'd have to look at their exact money to see, but that's what my gut tells me is if I'm looking for a long haul quarterback at a number that just doesn't completely break me, probably in that territory. I think Derek Carr got a lot of money for what has been a nice career so far, but by no means anything like extraordinary.
Right. I got some technical difficulty. I think Murphy Law is in his mix.
Can you not hear me?
No, they saying that my volume, it sounds like I'm so far off. So I'm just going to try to patch that up while you go over some of these deals here.
All right. Let me just start running through some shout outs here. Shout out in the chat. I got the prospect chat and the Law Nation chat open over here. So shout out to Ramiro Garcia, Anthony Smith, and Glech. I always like saying that name. In the Law Nation chat, shout out to Abdullah87, D-Boys201. Shout out Hader Rivas. Man, you got a ton of people in this chat over here, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We are everywhere, almost to the point of unmanageable, but that's all right. We roll and welcome all parties.
Yes, and pretty much, yeah. Go ahead. Well, go ahead and tell them about the Dallas Prospect, man. Tell them all about the show, where they can find you and stuff like too as well while we some of these.
So if somehow you guys still don't know me, I'm Darreck Kirby, a.k.a. DDP of the Dallas Prospect. Dallas Prospect is your home for Dallas sports and all things pop culture. Do a lot of Cowboys and lately Mavericks talk. And on the pop culture front, everything from film analysis to gaming news and reviews and music and interviews and things like that as well. Basically just trying to have a finger on the pulse of Dallas in general, trying to kind of show off not just the sports side of the city, but also a little bit of the culture and everything that makes it unique. But if you want to follow us, support us, you can find us on Facebook, of course, at the Dallas Prospect, Twitter at Dallas Prospect. And, of course, the website, thedallasprospect.com.
There you go, man. Guys, go follow that channel. Go follow that page. And follow Patreon, too, as well. The Dallas Prospect. Every legend was once a prospect, guys. So moving forward, yes, indeed. So
that tagline might be my finest accomplishment.
That is, man. That's dope, you know. But I believe like players like Deion Sanders, they'll say, man, this guy's meant to play football from the time he was in his diapers, you know. So what was the next deal we was going to talk about with Dak Prescott? You know, as far as we talked about the money. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with Dak, it really just comes down to his progression this year. If he can still show out and show that he is worthy of that huge contract, and through 25 games, and that's including in 2016 his playoff game. Overall, his numbers were very strong. We know the last 8 games of last year were not good. That's not all him. We had, Tyron Smith and Zeke share the field in the second half of the season for just 3 snaps. But all the same, we know how this works, right or wrong in the NFL. The quarterback is going to have to shoulder all the burden, whether you won, it's because of the quarterback, or in Dak's case, they try and take that away actually and give the credit to Zeke and the O-line. But if you lost, it's damn sure Dak's fault is how it's viewed. And it's just one of those things where it's like there's no fair reasoning behind it. And quarterbacks more than any other position in any other sport are judged by whether or not they can deliver a title. And like their legacy is almost like invalid in the eyes of a lot of people if they can't do it. And I think that's harsh, obviously, but that's the perception. So Dak's going to have to continue to progress and show. I don't think he's ever going to be an Aaron Rodgers or a Drew Brees. That's not how he's built. But he does have a lot of intangibles and a lot of great leadership. And he does have a penchant for making some clutch plays where I could see him being a legitimate playmaker when needed, as long as that's not like needed every play for a deep playoff run for the Cowboys.
Yeah, when you look at it overall, we fall in love with the gunslinger. We do that, um, just like the Kirk Cousins. That a lot of people were saying, okay, Kirk Cousins is the next best thing since sliced bread. They was looking at the numbers and everything like that, but he still blew games at the end. And not saying that Dak Prescott is better than Kirk Cousins, but he is 4-0 against Kirk Cousins. But we try to put people in a box, and especially after his second year, he didn't have the glorious year that we all hoping for. And one
Right.
can argue the fact that saying that he can't hit water if he fell off the boat, But this is the thing: when you're talking about a quarterback that managed the game, not saying that he's a Brad Johnson, a Trent Dilfer. To me personally, he's better than those guys, and we should be happy with that. I think he can
Yeah,
deliver in that aspect.
absolutely. Absolutely. You look at a quarterback like Favre, for instance. Favre's greatness isn't really questioned by anybody, but he was the quintessential gunslinger. And while he has all these great records and everything, he's also a guy that, had he not won the one Super Bowl, think of how many other times that the guy, choked in big moments in the playoffs. That
Hmm.
one when he was with the Vikings and threw that unforgivable pick that ended the game versus the Saints in the NFC Championship. If he was a guy without a title already, that would have like cemented his legacy as a choker. Like if that was Tony Romo, flip him with Tony Romo in that spot. What would the
Right.
perception to be in the reaction? The fact that he had the one title allowed him to deflect everything, and that's the weird perception of it. It's like it's almost like you're bulletproof in that regard. Like, oh, he showed he could do it. He showed he could win a title, and therefore most of his criticism we're going to overlook. And
Hmm.
he also has records like the all-time interception record, right?
Right.
Like it's not all all as Jerry would say, all glory hole, right? It, it's not all great, but at the same time, he is a Hall of Famer, and for Tony's case, I don't think he's first ballot by any means, but maybe someday he can get into that discussion. And that just says like if those quarterbacks who are gunslingers and aggressive, they might make the sexy plays, but they'll also make a lot of the bad plays as well. Tony had more than his fair share.
Hmm.
Dak Dak is a more, I think, cerebral quarterback in the sense that, as a rookie, he threw 4 picks. Before the second half of last year, he again, I think, had 4 or 5 picks. And I think he had 4 picks at the halfway mark of last year and then threw
Hmm.
like 5 the rest of the way or something like that. So we're talking about a guy with, I think, no, it's 13 picks total. So for his 2 years, he's got 17 picks against like 57 total touchdowns. Like, I get it. His accuracy needs improvement as far as down the field stuff. But as far as the concrete numbers and production, at some point you just got to be like, got to recognize game, right? You just got to be like,
Hmm.
dude, that what you're doing is incredible. And as long as we're winning, people aren't really complaining. But if we're losing, then suddenly any incompletion he throws, he's going to get ripped a new one over. And I just think that's a little ridiculous. I think people are very reactive these days to every little thing. It's micromanaged.
Perception can be reality in some factors, but people
Mm-hmm.
fail to realize too as well. If we go back and we talk about we just going back the
Marino, exactly. Someone in
Marino,
the
you're right.
comments.
But let's move beyond Marino. Let's look at a guy who was perceived not a good quarterback and perceived as more of a tight end guy and was perceived as a guy who could only pass short passes. And he played for the 49ers. And I'm not talking about Joe Montana. I'm talking about
Yep.
Steve Young. It took him a minute for him to get beyond that threshold. And a lot of people fail to realize. I know a lot of people are young and didn't follow Steve Young's career, and this is a Cowboy centric channel. But look back at Steve Young's career. He was a guy that run first, and he played in the perfect system for his skill set. But he reminded me so much of a guy that couldn't get beyond the point of winning the big game. And when he finally won the big game, they had a good excerpt of a good show of him, a player taking the monkey off his back, pulling the monkey off his back because this quarterback world is a cruel one, and also if we can go
Yeah,
back,
Elway.
yeah, Elway, it took him towards the latter part of his
Okay.
career, and think about that, what they did, what did they do in order for him to make the Super Bowl and win it?
They gave him a running
They
game.
gave him a running game. He had a great option with a tight end, of course, and then they surrounded defense around this guy. So it's possible, guys, and I just don't want the Elway treatment, of not Tony Romo, but Dak Prescott to go through all those years and finally win it at the end. No, I
Yeah.
want us to win it now. I'm greedy in a sense, but if we can take some of that philosophy, we already have Ezekiel Elliott. We already have one of the, I'm not saying the best, one of the best offensive line in the world. And we have some complementary pieces out there as far as wide receivers. I think that it can happen, especially with this defense and Rob Marinelli and Chris Richard regime.
Yeah, absolutely. The defense, I think, is going to be vastly improved. Not just the Chris Richard effect. I think even across the board, I think Jaylon Smith is going to be better, not just another year of experience, this one actually playing, but all indications are that his drop foot is better, that he is as close to 100% healthy as he has been, obviously, since the injury. And now you're looking at him being closer, at least. I think I saw something crazy the other day, like his body fat is like 3% or less or something crazy like that the other day. Maybe it was like 6%, but it was something super low. No, I think it was 3. And they basically were commenting on how he was 4% body fat at Notre Dame. So he's in better shape now than he was even then. You're going to have him. You add a guy like Van Der Esch, a cover linebacker, who, if he can stay healthy, can be a tackling machine for you, especially if he works on some of those mechanics and fundamentals. And then you also add in guys like Byron Jones moving to a position of strength from safety back to cornerback, where he can be a press corner and all of that. It works better, and it feels like they have a better sense of what they need to do. And I didn't even get into the young cornerback tandem people are really excited about with Cheeto and Jordan Lewis. So I think this will be I think it'll be a scratching at the door of a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
If they can create turnovers, they'll be in the top 3. But I think top 10, and I think they could be scratching at the door of top 5.
Yeah. If we look back at last year, although we was 8th ranked overall in defense, but we failed to realize that we wasn't getting off the field on third down, and we wasn't creating a lot of turnover. So I believe that with Richard's system, not saying that Richard is going to be the guy that can walk on water for us, but what I'm saying is that what Richard is going to do is that he's going to have the players that have the length, have the strength, have the range, and have the quarterback thinking before they can try to force that ball in that window. And we know that Rob Marinelli, his forte is actually the front 4. So even though with the Belly Irvin, I call him Belly Irvin till I see him out there, even though he's going to be gone for the first 4 games, hopefully, and I mean hopefully, that he can get these middle part of his orphans together, like the Brian Price and the Ash and the Jihad, what's his Jihad last name?
Jihad Ward.
Jihad Ward. Maybe he can step it up. And hopefully the foot action with Malik Collins can get together, and maybe we can create some type of pressure in the inside of this defensive front. I'm not worried about the offside of the defensive end. I'm not worried about the Taco Charltons, the D-Law, and I'm not worried about the Conley Ely's of the world. I'm just really worried about the interior.
Yeah, definitely. And, with the David Irving suspension, that's going to remain a bit of a question mark for the first 4 weeks, especially. I think there is some good depth with the defensive line, and that will help, but you do lose the stud who, you can't replace a stud. You can patch it. You can patch a hole, so to speak, in the line, but if you have a guy that can just wreck shop like David Irving is capable of, you can't replace him and keep the same production. It's kind of like, Jason Garrett always likes to talk about the, next man up philosophy. And the problem with that is it's kind of BS, right? Like we can put on a brave face and say, yeah, next guy up, everyone's got to be ready to go. if you're losing like Tyron Smith and you got to send Chaz Green in there, that's not next man up. That's a huge drop off. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
acknowledge it as like not an equal thing. It's a step back, and they didn't even show last year that they could really plan for and account for that game plan around it, whether it was in game or even week to week for a couple weeks. So it was a train wreck. But it's one of those things where you can't replace the elite talent, but you can try and patch it as best you can if you plan for it. And thankfully, I think we have enough depth on the defensive line with guys like you mentioned, like Coney Ely. I know he's not a defensive tackle, but with guys like that I think you can get your play, you can make your plays elsewhere and then rely on other guys in the middle, the second level, like Sean Lee and Jaylon Smith crashing down to kind of hold that tight as well.
Yes, indeed. And shout out to Brandon Newkirk, man, for making the donation to help grow the nation. I appreciate you, man. He says in the salute to you, bro. I wish I had like the music to go chime in, but Producer G, he's going to get it together one day when we get out there and have Producer G back in the mix. But neither here nor there. He says that we're going to have pretty much the NASCAR package with the Randy Gregory, number 94, Super Jaylon. And, we understand what the possibilities with Randy Gregory can do for this team, right?
Yeah,
the brother got
exactly.
a bend out this world. Like I'm talking about, his shoulder can get so low, it's like he's like a weed eater blade. I'm telling you, he can get around to the quarterback. But hopefully Roger Goodell, I won't say Roger Goodell one more time.
How ironic is it that you compared him to a weed eater, by the way?
Oh my God. Oh, it's so right. But you know that you gotta see that weed eater blade when it gets low.
I was like, man, that's a great analogy. And then I thought on next level, I was like, that is a brilliant description.
Yes, indeed, boy. That Randy Gregory, boy, he can get around. Boy, he can get around to the quarterback, boy. But hopefully we can see that. And I think that if Roger Goodell can lift up that suspension, a yearly ban, whatever, and approve his right to play, and then we should see that. Hopefully he kept himself in some type of shape and he can get to the quarterback. But moving on, talking about this defense, my God, if we can figure out a way to get these guys to just be up to strength and play forward and ready, this defense is going to be nasty.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone in the comments was talking about how I don't think it's a new system they're learning. I think they're working with some things that are a little different. But anyone who's worried that right now they might not be looking super great, don't worry about it. We're not even to training camp yet. Like there's so much practice time between now and the start of the season. And even if they start slow, we saw last year they finished really strong. And give them time. I'm not saying give them like the amount of time that they took last year to get going, obviously, but if it takes them 2 to 3 weeks to really start locking in and playing lockdown defense, making it like a no-fly zone in the secondary, for instance, be happy with that, man. That's something we haven't had in a long time. And if it takes a couple weeks to get rolling, then that's something. Hey, I think we got James in the chat. I can't hear him, but I did see him.
Yeah, he probably still setting up. You talking about in the chat box or up here?
Or Hangout.
Hangout. That's what I'm talking about.
His camera was on.
James. He might be setting it up, man. But thinking about this defense,
I heard him smacking his lips, James.
I know. He ready to get fired. He ready to get crunk.
I don't know about crunk or fire. I'm tired of crunk, but I'm gonna get crunk.
He's like, I've been listening to everything you guys are saying, and you're so wrong. Here's why.
Here's why.
Survey says. What up, y'all?
Nothing to it, man. How
y'all doing?
Man?
We're good.
I seen y'all been holding it down. How long y'all been going?
About 30 minutes.
I hope I ain't. I feel like I'm echoing, but I'll try not to. What's up? What's up? What we do? What's good with everybody? How's everybody doing? Law Nation DDP. What's good with everybody? Just got off work. Sorry, folks, for not being here. I don't know if y'all even cared, but if y'all happen to do care, yeah, I got off work a little late. That job, I hate it. Want to smack it in the face, stomp it, beat it up, all kind of stuff. I'm ready to DDP this job for real. But you know what I'm saying? I'm here. We're trying to just keep it rolling.
Man,
DDP this job.
Yeah, DDP this job.
I'm ready.
Hit him with the diamond cutter.
Man, diamond cutter, all kind of cutters. Cut it all up.
Yep. Cut it. Cut it.
All right. Yeah, man. We're doing good. We've just been talking a little bit about the defense. We talked a little bit early on about Dak switching agents and kind of what that could kind of indicate for his contract situation. But other than that, we've kind of left some of the other main topics kind of waiting. So we're doing good.
There it is. Well, hey, I'm whatever's clever. You feel me? Whatever's clever. I'm falling off of y'all.
Hey, man, what will make you pay Dak Prescott $30 million? Spit the real. What will make you pay Dak Prescott $30 million?
He got to be throwing like 4,500, like 4,000 to 4,500 yards, at least like 35 to 40 touchdowns, 38. 40 touchdowns and under, and only about 10, 12 interceptions. But he got to be hitting about 40 touchdowns. He's got to be hitting that 4,000 barrier. And I'm thinking if I'm paying him $30 million, he got to be hitting like 4,500, 4,800. He got to get near them Drew Brees. If you're paying him $30 million, yeah, he got to get out. He got to be all world, and that's just not gonna happen. I just don't ever see him doing that. Maybe he might do it, but I don't see that. That's not his game.
Agreed.
20 million. What you want with 20 million?
20 million, I'm good with 20 million with that. What he's doing now, if he balls, if he plays like he played in 2016, 20 million is good for me.
Yep, that's pretty much what we were thinking as well. I think once you start going 25 and over, I start getting a little antsy. But that's depending on how much growth we see from the second half of last year. If he shows improvement in that, then I'm not as worried about it, but I think 20 to 25 is about what I would be at the limit of feeling comfortable with. 25 is the limit.
You know, I don't know. It's just frustrating because, like I said, you see some quarterbacks who get paid that money and they may not even be a franchise type quarterback, but they have a couple good years, and then you be just thinking that they're the guy. But then you have to really just look at the players around them. A lot of times you have to look at these teams that have these players around them that make them good. I mean, Kirk Cousins is good, but he's not that type of money guy to me. He's never really won anything, and just because he can, I mean, even at Michigan State, I'm out here in Ohio. I don't get to see, you know what I'm saying, the Big 12 like I see the Big 10 because it's all Big 10 games, so I get to actually see, you know, these games. And so I watched Kirk Cousins, and he was never nothing special. Even at Michigan State, he was good, but he was never nothing special. And he's in the NFL, and he's good, but he's nothing special. So I don't feel like he commands them numbers, but it's just the going rate, and it's just kind of crazy how some of these guys get paid, and they really ain't the guys to be doing that, getting that kind of money. When you look at, they need players around them to make them good. Kirk Cousins ain't carrying no team by himself.
Definitely not. And he better manage that game.
Blake Bortles just got the extension, right? He ain't carrying no team. We found that out. He ain't carrying no team by himself. Everybody thinks that, you know, it's funny when everybody's dogging like Dak and this and that, but people think like franchise quarterbacks just fall off trees. No, it's very hard to find a franchise quarterback, a guy who's going to be able to make all those throws, do everything that you need to. You don't find them guys. If it was that easy, you'd be able to find it every year, but it's not. There's so many people that fail because it's hard. You don't find those guys that can just carry teams. You need a lot of guys that are good, and they need players around them to make them even better. That's just how it is. And every team that gets a quarterback ain't getting a franchise quarterback. That's just the real.
Man.
Hey, Law, we got calls. We got calls from Vach wanting the ball.
Oh, Vach
wants us to call him in.
Yep. Yes, Vach, man. Let me see if I can find that link for you, man, and send it out to you, fam. You're always welcome to the show. Always welcome to the family, man. You already know, you know. But you guys go ahead and continue to talk, and while I go ahead and find this link. Hey, we was touching on this defense, big game. Give me your thoughts on this defense while I hit up this link for my boy.
Well, I've been telling you about the defense. I've been screaming it since last year. You know, when we talked about when you were calling in, you know, when I asked you to call in when we first really started Silver and Blue, we were both talking about them being a top 10 defense. And by midseason, they were going to be gelling. And you saw how it formed and how it was going to happen. And I just feel like it's going to expand because of the coaching that they brought with it. If you look at what we did last year, what the team did last year as a whole, going, I believe, 8th overall. You slipped a little bit in the run defense, but the pass defense was a lot better. But if you look as a whole, we had coaches that weren't the greatest that they got let go, and we still had a good defense. Imagine now you get a Chris Richard, you get a Ben Bloom, who the guys are really feeling and loving and being excited about. Don't you think the defense will be even better, especially if we're injury free? It just looks like these guys are ready to explode, and I'm just really excited. It's been the first time in a very long time. I was getting the excitement last year because you could see it forming, and then now this year, now we just got a young nucleus, and I think that's what excites me the most is that our whole team is young. Sean Lee is the oldest guy starting on our defense, and he's the wise veteran, and he has the sense of urgency. He's coming in like, look, I'm trying to win a championship. There's no time to play. I got to stay healthy because I want a championship. And I feel like the other players are kind of feeding off him because I don't know about y'all, but I never really seen this sense of urgency that I've seen in Sean Lee in a very long time. It just seems like he's like, look, we got to get this and we got to get this now. My window is not that much longer. He's a guy who's a realist, and he knows his window is not that long. So he wants to try to get a championship while he can.
Hell yeah, you need to do that, man. Shout out to Brandon Newkirk, man. He said, big game, James, my man. He said he's in the 757. He made the donation to help grow the nation.
I appreciate you. Hey, love you, dog.
Yes, indeed. So, hey, man, when you're talking about this possibility, man, I really want Sean Lee to get to the playoff, and I really want him to win it, and I really want him to get to the big dance, and he deserves it. And hell, if we get there, hell, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm calling Jason Witten just to come down on the sidelines, just to run out there and tell the team this is what we need to do to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Because we need this, man. Those are good guys, man. And I do know that good guys finish last and all this good stuff, but we need to figure out a way to win it this year. It's just been too long. I saw a report where it says out there the Dallas Cowboys are the most loyal fan base in the world, and they leading in so many categories. And I sent the guy Jay Reese sent me a message on a link on that, and I commented back to him. I said, man, this is bittersweet because we got all these accolades, we got all these promises and hopes, but we're not winning, and that's what counts. I don't give a care about Dak Prescott hitting the 4,500 yards if we're not winning. Tony Romo hit those numbers, you see. All I want is to win. That's all I want is to win. I don't care if it's a 4 games without a touchdown, it's a 4 games without 300 yards passing or 200-yard passing. I just want us to win, and I know you're feeling the same.
Well, let me ask you this: when they had built this offense, because wasn't it the reason why we built the offensive line and got the running game and got the receivers was to take all the pressure off Tony Romo so he didn't have to feel like he won the game? Wasn't that the whole point? And is one of his best seasons in 2014 where, it could have been a possible Super Bowl year. He had one of his best statistical years. And why? Because the run game. Why? Was because he wasn't throwing for 400 yards in those games. He was throwing for like 250, 285. He was efficient, and that's what they wanted. They didn't want him having to throw those 300-yard games. They wanted him in them 250s, maybe a 300, but they wanted Murray getting those 150s, 175s. They want the ball spread around. That's the offense that they wanted to do, and that's what was most successful. So why should we want Dak Prescott to be out there throwing for all these yards when the whole point was to get a good run game, a solid offensive line, solid core all the way around, and then that's how you win as a team. So, I mean, I don't understand what's the big deal about Dak Prescott when if you look at Tony Romo, they did the same type of thing, taking the ball out of his hands and not having to feel like he has to win the game.
Yes, indeed. Let me ask you this. Who's Terrell Davis?
Which one, from the Broncos?
Yeah.
How about the Broncos running back that went over 2,000 yards?
He was everything for John Elway, right? Who's Dorsey Levens? He was everything. This is going way back. Jogging your mind back.
Dorsey Levens, 25.
Yeah. He was everything. He was everything for that guy, Brett Favre. So people fail to realize these quarterbacks, and I do know that they're pretty much far as passer of the ball.
Well, I mean, even look at the Atlanta Falcons when they went to the Super Bowl. Who was the running back?
Oh boy, the guy that did the
Jamal Anderson.
Jamal Anderson, yeah. We can go back to the Ravens, Jamal Lewis. These running backs, that's some similarities.
Even when Minnesota had their crazy year, who was their running back?
was it Robert
Smith.
Yeah, Robert Smith. See, we
so they always but the thing was John Elway didn't win a Super Bowl until when?
They got that running back.
Until he got the running game, yeah.
Exactly.
Or who's Emmitt Smith?
I mean, Troy Aikman was dope, and we know that. Troy Aikman was dope.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy Aikman was nasty dope, but I mean, you needed that Emmitt Smith. I mean, it all went hand in hand. I mean, I don't know why everybody feels like they're tripping on Dak Prescott like he has to win every freaking game. No, he doesn't. I mean, why they keep talking about that? Stop talking about it. Act like he got to win every damn game. He don't have to.
I tell you what, man, this one coach I know, the most brilliant offensive mind I've ever met, he say, your offense is its best when you throw only when you want to throw. Like you never have to throw. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when we in a situation where Dak, let's just take Tone, because we talked about Tone earlier. It's Vash Lombardi, by the way. When Tone had to throw the ball 40, 30 times a game, he got the numbers, but the offense wasn't as pristine as it had to be. But we build the line, and DeMarco Murray happened. Tone probably 20 attempts, 25 attempts.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best season he ever had, man. So, if we've built this team to revolve around the quarterback throwing when he has to throw, when we want him to, not ever having to be pinned down and having to. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you speaking facts, coming in the door for speaking facts, man.
What up, y'all?
Hey,
what up?
What up, Vosh?
Coolin', Doski Woski.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, we forgot to plug everything. Big Game James, don't forget, man, we on Phantom. We on your show, Big Game James, Silver and Blue Nation. And as well, just introduce yourself again, Big Game James, and Vash Lombardi to those stations.
Well, just Big Game James, Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James page. Check us out. You know how we do every Sunday, 3:30, 5 p.m. All day, all night. Cowboys football. You know how we doing.
Where you be at this weekend?
I'm going to be at the Social Club this Saturday. Taco Charlton's going to be at the building. He's actually doing a camp where he did he gave 250 kids out here in Ohio, free camp. And the place we're going to be at, the Social Club, is going to provide the lunches and the food for them. So he's going to be in the building, I think, from like 7 to 9. I think he's bringing one of his friends who's one place for the Giants, I believe. He's going to be in the building. We're going to chop it up, have a good time. All Cowboys in there. Ask him a few questions, talk to him about a few things, and, just have a good time.
Yes, indeed. And Vash, man, go ahead and introduce yourself too as well to them, man.
You already know who it is. It's Vash Lombardi, a.k.a. John Wick III, a.k.a. Jason Garrett nephew. I break down film over on my channel on YouTube, VOCHLOMBARDI. I don't lie to you. All the proof is on the film. We don't sugarcoat nothing. Salute.
Yes, indeed, man. DDP.
I don't see the family resemblance with Jason Garrett.
That dirty red.
Got a strange family, man. You know what I mean? Don't
Yeah.
my genotype like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, can you get into Jason Garrett's ear, man, from the second half adjustment? That's the only gripe I have about Jason Garrett this year. If he can just make those second half adjustments.
I ain't telling Jason Garrett nothing, because Jason Garrett get paid a lot of money to do that.
$5 million, I think.
And if I'm gonna be saying anything about player adjustments, I want my cut. So they gonna have to fire the homie if they want my advice. But I will gladly take over and set this thing straight.
Because I just don't want to live through that Thanksgiving again. Last year, Thanksgiving, oh my God, that turkey was cold. I mean, the ham wasn't tasting good. I mean, the dressing was nasty, although it was good. Shout out to the dressing makers. But it was just nasty. I couldn't swallow it, man, because of that Thanksgiving game.
Player execution, man. Always leaned on that. And people call me a Garrett lover, and that's not really true. I'm not really pro Jason Garrett. I'm pro.
That's what Law said. Law said you was a Garrett lover.
Yeah, boy. That's what he said. Love some Garrett, boy.
What he said.
Jason Garrett $6 million last year.
Oh, okay. He got even 6. I said 5. He getting 6.
Well, if I had a radio voice, people would, just listen and believe to whatever the hell I say too. But I'm not pro Jason Garrett though. I'm pro
Cowboys.
What the hell you want this man to do? I come from an ex-coaching background, you know what I mean? So player execution is first. So when this was all going on, I'm like, yo, Chaz Green, you've got to find a way to block this dude. You've got to move your feet, you got to use your hands, you got to chop, you got to do something. I'm not thinking, oh, let me take away one of Dak's passing options to try to block Adrian Claiborne. You know what I mean? So that's just a different train of thought to where I come from. But we never say none of this when things are going right, though. You know what I mean? When we winning, when we running over people, we say nothing. It's just that we get a bit emotional sometimes, and I'm not gonna do this right now because law bring me on to fuss with people. I'm not doing this right now.
No, I ain't gonna do it. I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna normally say about that Atlanta Falcons game.
Let me just say this, and I'm gonna stop talking about it. Right? I was talking to this one Cowboy fan. And I was like, "What you hate about Jason Garrett the most?" And he was all like, "Oh, I hate his I hate his clock management." I say, "Okay, would you rather a coach like Andy Reid?" Say, "I would love Andy Reid." I say, "Andy Reid got the worst clock management in the National Football League, dog." I just think sometimes when we run out of fingers to point to, we just gotta go to either the head coach or the quarterback. And if you look at the 80%, we either talking crazy about Dak or we talking crazy about Jason. We're not talking about Anthony Brown dropping interceptions. We're not talking about Switzer dropping punt returns. We're not talking about these small Chaz Green moving his feet. If we if we fix those three things, that's 11 wins, dog.
I feel you, Vaj, though.
I'm not fussing. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I'm not gonna do it. I get what you're saying. Like, I'm not a hater of Garrett. Like, I have supported him, but now it's just like you gotta show and prove. It's like after so many years, it's gotta be, let's do this right now because you said you had. I mean, everything is in place. I just don't want to hear no more of the excuses. Now, I understand the Ryan Switzer thing, but in my head, I feel like you were a coach. I coached. I feel like sometimes when you're in those practice fields, I just feel like sometimes I just don't know if these guys look at Garrett in that way. I know that they respect him as far as, hey, he's a good guy, but I don't know if he's just that guy. That's all I'm saying. I just don't know if he's that guy. I don't know.
That can change person to person, but this is my whole thing, right? And everybody's season kind of needs a little bit of luck. You know what I mean? The Green Bay Packers were just trash because Aaron Rodgers got hurt. The Texans were looking surprisingly good, but their quarterback got hurt. They go to trash. Right. I just don't want people to see us lose our three best players. Now, all of a sudden, there's a problem with the infrastructure to where we was just 13-3 a week ago. This is something else I don't want. I'm going to let you go. We've seen this thing work, man. We've seen W's. I would hate to lose Jason Garrett and get a guy like Vance Joseph, and we got to start all the way over again, and this thing go 3-13.
So let me ask you this: would you wouldn't feel better? You don't think that there was a subtle move when they got Chris Richard as we're going to put you as the the pass coordinator, but we really want you to possibly come into that fold of being, because honestly, we're going to have to put him in a situation where he's going to have to be a head coach, or we're going to lose him because people are going to pry after him. So I feel like it was maybe a little small talk of come on over here and do this and let's see what happens. But at the end of the day, it's been 8 years. I'm not saying that Garrett is a terrible coach. I think he's an average coach. But just as you said, Vach, I have seen teams where you lose a top guy, maybe a top running back or things of that nature, and your team just doesn't go to hell. You know what I'm saying? It just feels like when we lose, every time we lose one top player, our team goes to hell. We don't just like tater the waters. We go to hell. And that's when you saw Romo break that shoulder in that Philly game. Did you feel? Just tell me, man. If I'm wrong, tell me. But you didn't feel like, damn, season over.
My heart sunk. 100%.
Did you feel like season was over?
100%. My heart sunk. But it's not like, we losing Cheeto or we losing Terrence or we losing Hitchens. Damn it, we a run first team and we lost the running back. You know what I'm saying? Like what you want us to do here? You know what I'm saying? So it's just part of the game, man. There's nothing else we can do about that. But I just feel like
you don't think this is a show and prove year.
This is 100% a show and prove year.
What keeps Garrett in your eyes?
What keeps him? on the team
right now.
What's keeping him is
no. What would keep him for next year and beyond? What would he have to do this year besides a Super Bowl?
I mean, but besides the Super Bowl, I mean, we gonna be as good as we have been those 13 and 3 years when things are rolling, when that machine moving. We gonna be either that or better. We're gonna have to be one of those type of deals, man.
Do you think he has to get to an NFC championship to keep his job?
We'll see. And that's a lot, though, man.
How's it a lot?
That's a lot.
How's it a lot?
You say winning it or just getting there?
Just getting there. How's it a lot?
Going to an NFC championship
with the talent that we have. You can't tell me we're not as talented as every team in the NFC. Period. You can't say that.
Yes, it ain't easy to win in the league.
I'm not saying it isn't, but you can do it.
And I'm not making excuses for Garrett. No, but damn, that's like
no, it's not because this is 8 years.
His job after winning.
You can't say that because here's the thing. If you look at 2014, we were at the tips. With 2015, we had the injuries. 2016, we had the division. We had a bye. We came in. We lost. Don't you think that with only one playoff win, if you were just to get a playoff victory, because the only playoff victory he got was that Detroit game. We all know, I'm not hating, but we all know if it wasn't for the bogus call, we're not going there. And even when that happened, we still had to get 2 4th downs just to win that game. So it wasn't like we blew him out. It was the hair of our chinny chin. So what I'm saying is if he was to get just to the playoffs and just get to the playoffs and win a playoff game and then lose, that keeps him for another year. And we say, oh, next year, maybe next year. Is that what we say again, Vach?
So listen, how about this? So that one playoff game after Detroit in Green Bay, the whole Dez game, what you think the reason we lost that game for? What would you blame that on?
I'm gonna say defense.
DeMarco Murray fumbling the daggone ball. Thank you.
But everybody says when he ran that ball and Pepper stripped that ball, you know DeMarco Murray doesn't have that getaway speed. He had that angle, but somebody was right there. We don't know if he was going to get that touchdown. And I'm not taking away anything from what happened in that game. But even if Dez Bryant would have caught that pass and we scored, it was still 4 minutes left, and we could not stop a messed up calf, Aaron Rodgers, all game. He was killing us by himself. So we don't even know if we for sure we could have stopped him in that drive. We don't know that because he was making mixed meat of us the whole game with a tore up calf.
Play defense, player execution, same thing.
We didn't have it when you had J.J. Wilcox there, Mr. Bad Angle. He was taking bad angles all that game. So we didn't really have the confidence in him in that game, did we?
So is that Garrett or is that front office for us having a linebacker playing free safety?
I mean, but he is the coach, and he did have those assistant coaches. He did hire Joe Baker. He followed him. He went 2016. The secondary coach has a bad year, and then he gets fired. So and I hear Anthony Brown saying we just did what we wanted, and I hear Beasley saying, well, we just did what we wanted. So if that's the assistant coaches, you've been a coach, I've been a head coach. If your assistant coaches are doing that, that's a problem with the head coach not addressing the assistant coach, isn't it?
But the assistant coach ain't there no more. So like,
all right, but.
So that's Jason Garrett doing what he's supposed to do. Last year he didn't see improvements within his player position situation, so he got rid of all them coaches. That's Garrett's job. Some people think that every little thing falls upon Garrett.
No, I don't.
Garrett's not you. Some people.
Okay, I got you.
80%. It's Garrett's job to make sure the machine runs. You know what I mean? Garrett can't catch the daggone ball. He don't tackle nobody. He makes sure the machine run. Play calling is Linehan. So if y'all want Zeke to get the ball on the goal line, don't get mad at Jason Garrett. Look at Scott Linehan. I don't look at Scott Linehan. I think a player execution, because when I went on Mark Holmes' show to debate them, I showed the film. Jason Witten missing his block and Dak Prescott running for his life, so he missed Cole Beasley in the back of the end zone because everybody came down on Zeke. So it was play action. It's execution, fam. That's what I blame this on.
Yes,
all right, so that's.
And I'm not yelling at you, Jay.
You're my dog. You're my dog for life.
That's my dog.
I love it.
Yes, boy, this is like live like 95, man. I'm telling you, man, I wasn't ready for this.
Lord just sit back smiling. 10 minutes.
Yes. Boy, I'm drinking my hand and just chilling, boy. I'm telling you, man, I love this, man. Hey, DDP, man, reel us back in. What's the next topic, bro?
What did you guys make of Travis Frederick not making the NFL top 100?
Y'all watch that?
I know. I really didn't. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I do because
I saw the list that was about the end of it.
I do like looking some of the highlights of just the players just because it's football and there's nothing going on. So I do like to see a lot of the defensive players. But you know, I mean, there ain't nothing to say to that. We all know it's a popularity game, but that's totally to me disrespectful, because even more disrespectful is not even the top 100. They have the honorable mention, which is like another additional 10 players that don't make it that they felt like should have made it. He still wasn't in that list.
Wow,
totally disrespectful.
He was not even in that list.
He wasn't even in that list. Totally disrespectful.
That's why I cancel my cable and sub to y'all, man. The peanut gallery.
Yes, indeed, man. It's crazy, man. So he's not top 10. What was any center out there better than him, or anybody they put above him?
I mean, like I said, I don't really mess with that top 100 any longer. When they put one person in there after having a phenomenal year and they say he's the top 100 players in the league, I mean, to me, that's just crazy. I mean, one person can you can be a nobody when you come in and get like 80 catches and then you're in the top 100. No, that's crazy. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in real life, not real football. You can do that 1 year, but there's too many 1 year wonders that play the game, and you can't just get somebody in that 1 year, because you're going to get focused on that next year, and we got to see what you're going to do. And I just don't want to keep hearing that. You know, I don't know. It's just sad how they do it, but hey, you know, it's popularity. It's what people want to see on the TV. It's what they want to get more viewers. It's all about money.
And I heard
to be somewhat fair, I just went through the entire top 100. No center is listed, like any team. So it's not like they put someone ahead of it. They just completely disrespected the entire position.
I mean, center is one of the top positions, isn't it? In there, he's the quarterback, ain't he?
I got center as the second hardest position to learn in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm just saying, in the top 100, you have some tackles and stuff, like in which Tyron makes it. We got a guard and Zach Martin, but no mentions of a center anywhere in the positions on NFL.com.
I don't want on the list. You know, just let us fly under the radar, man. I don't want.
That's when we're better.
I don't want nobody giving us props for nothing. Was Sean Lee on there?
No.
Sean Lee? No, he wasn't on there.
I don't even want Sean Lee on there. And I know somebody go like, well, Sean Lee missed 6 games. JJ Watt missed all of them, and he on there. So I ain't trying to hear none of that. So I love to fly under the radar, man. I just like it better when you're not talking about us.
It's a wildly inconsistent list anyway, because Carson Wentz had a mediocre rookie year and then a very good second year, MVP caliber second year before his injury.
And he's third.
Yes, he's number 3. Dak, meanwhile, had a best rookie season of a quarterback in NFL history with regard to wins and like touchdown to interception ratio and all of that. And then last year, he fell off in the last 8 games, despite, for the most part, putting up similar numbers in the first half of the season. And he didn't even make the list this year. So it's one of those weird things where it's like, okay, how do you extremely flip that badly? Zeke misses 6 games. He falls all the way to 54th on the list. Like it's ridiculous. You got guys like David Johnson ahead of him, and David Johnson barely played. At least I think David Johnson's on here. Let me look.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You know what? No, you're right. No, David Johnson's not on here. He was one of the snubs. Although I don't consider it a snub. He missed like the whole year with a broken wrist. So.
Right, but he was still got a higher Madden rating.
Yeah.
What's his Madden rating?
His Madden rating is 92 and Zeke's is 91.
Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Trash.
That's I mean, you know, it's crazy. You know, I seen Morris Jones-Drew list. He had LaShawn McCoy. He had what do you have? Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, those guys ahead of Zeke and Gurley. And I just feel like, man, Jones-Drew, like, I know you know Shady nice. I can't tell you, but man, Zeke, I mean, I'm like I tell people time and time again, I'm in Ohio and I hate Ohio State with a passion. Like, I hate Ohio State. They make me sick. They disgust me for real. But when I saw Zeke, I was just like, yo, I was just stay quiet because I didn't want to sway him, because everybody out here like, don't say nothing. But when I saw him run that ball, I was like, this dude is special.
Yeah. Zeke went from 7 to 54 in 1 year.
What you?
I mean, look at his first 2 years. He's wasn't a leading rusher in the first 2 years. Yeah. He's averaging over 100 yards a game.
Yes. What is the Ezekiel Elliott expectation for this year?
Best running back in the league.
I told you he's getting at least 1,700 yards in my eyes.
Yeah, I think he's going to be somewhere in 17 to 1,800. I don't want to push 2,000, honestly. Like, I want to put the team on his back, sure, but I don't want to run him into the ground in 1 year. I don't want to chase 2,000 yards and have him, worn out by the time playoffs roll around. I don't want to give him 30 carries a game just to get to that 2,000 mark, if that's what
That's why we got them other guys.
Exactly. So I think a balanced running attack. Have him be your lead dog. Have him get the lion's share, sure. But don't run him into the ground just for the sake of that. I've seen some people talking about him chasing 2,000 yards. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you completely bust him out 1 year and then not even get a good playoff run out of him?
I don't know. I think Zeke's a different type of back. He's not, I don't know if he's Adrian Peterson type, but I'm saying just the way he's this special, I feel like he's the type of guy that he can get those type of carries. He can take those type of yards. That's just, he feeds off that. When he was at Ohio State, he feeds off that. Like, that boy gets stronger. I'm telling you, when he gets that ball, and he's a guy that you got to ride this dude. You got to ride this dude because he's going to change the game. You see what he does when that threat is there, he changes our whole game. He changes our whole game when that threat is there.
Yo, here's a ridiculous one. How many games did Odell Beckham play this year or last year? 4, 5?
For real, 4 or 5?
And he was wildly unproductive in those games. He still made the top 100. He was number 77. He barely played, and he was terrible when he played. Like, it makes no sense. Like, this list, that's the thing. Like, I get the idea of, like, oh, it's somewhat of a novelty just because you're asking the players and getting their feedback. Man, there's no science or anything to it. There's no analysis. It's just, I don't know. Let's just take the average of everything we just think on the surface without really looking at it. Like, that's how you end up with these trash ratings. And I think that it's something that they make into this whole big event and they roll it out piece by piece. And I just don't care. Like, the only reason I'm even covering the story at all is because the headline rolls out and they're like, oh, look at the Cowboys snubbing, and people ask about it. So I added it to the run sheet just to talk about.
No doubt, man. No doubt. What's the next topic on there?
Let's see. We got. All right. Let's dive into this. Jaylon Smith's cryptic tweet suggesting a dream in which Dez Bryant re-signed with the Cowboys. Dez likes tweet. Is there a potential reunion? I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I still want to raise the question.
Vaj, what you want, man? We
didn't get rid of Dez Bryant based on skill or like cost or whatever, because he would have still taken a pay cut, and we could have held on to him for cheap. We got him in there because I guess they feel like he's messing up the infrastructure of the locker room. So with that being said, there's no coming back for Dez Bryant. It's not like those other situations where hey, we'll let you go free, test the market, and bring you back if we can get you cheap. They just don't like how he treating their quarterback and they wide receiver coaches. So they just about to get him up out of Dodge.
Big game. What's your thoughts on this, man, Dez Bryant?
Well, when you get married and you get divorced, you don't get remarried to that same person.
Hell no.
That's all I can say.
Took half their money, but like, hey, man. I think we
on me. Got divorced for a reason.
But this is the other deal on this. So
shout out Steven Johnson for the donation.
Oh, man, thank you for the donation to help grow the nation. You guys know we love the dollars.
Dollar.
Holla. Right. So, hey, think about this. What are your guys' thoughts on Jaylon Smith tweeting that, knowing that he should have just said, okay, it was a horrible dream or a nice dream or what have you. Let me just move on from it. He's seeking attention.
Well, Jaylon was the one said, I had a dream. The media, the comments were the one that went, oh, snap, they talked on the phone about this boy. He don't know. You see what I'm saying? So,
it's definitely a slow news session.
It's June.
Cycle.
It's June.
Yeah.
It's June news, and we ain't got nothing else to talk about. Like, if we had a full-blown training camp day and we had somebody got cut and somebody else got signed and like LeBron James robbed the bank, we wouldn't be talking about Jaylon Smith's tweets to Brian. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just
it doesn't even make sense in like a financial sense, because you're already paying him $4 million this season regardless. So he's getting that from Dallas regardless. So why would you then re-sign him to any new deal? Like, if you cut him because you didn't want to pay 12, which is part of what was presented early on, I don't think it really came down to money. I think they just wanted to move on. But if you're already paying him 4, why do you then sign him to a new deal, stunting the development of the new receiving core you have? And then with the new money, you're paying him, like, let's say at least another 6 on top of that. You're paying him 10. You could have given him a pay cut from the start if that's what you really wanted. They didn't want to give him a pay cut. He said he would have taken a pay cut and it wasn't even offered. So like there's nothing to this, in my opinion. Like, it would make no sense to bring him back at this point, in my estimate, because you're not saving money at that point, and it's kind of sending a bad message, I think, to your receiving core at that point. All your new rookies that you're bringing in, like, man, we haven't even gotten to training camp and they already don't think we can do it. We've already been disrespected by the leagues, being said that we're like the worst receiving core in the league. And now they're already like freaking out and re-signing Dez just to like bring him in here. Like, what's that say about their belief in us?
And then, like, honestly, Dez don't really fit the direction that the new offense is going. You know what I mean? Like I said a couple weeks ago on Law's channel, we kind of getting rid of all the downfield threat guys, So, holla at your Bryce, Dez gone. Let's not bring Dez back. Terrence Williams is on the thinnest of ice. Like, if he sneeze, ain't just anything Terrence do, he gone. You know what I mean? Plus, I heard some other news that might be happening about him. I ain't gonna say nothing, because it ain't real yet. But we just getting rid of those type of guys. We have nothing but nuanced route runners now. So it just wouldn't make sense to bring Dez back. To Dez, say you're sorry, and then we can, come back and find a way to fit you into the offense. Nah, Dez ain't gonna say sorry, and he's not gonna fit into the new offense. So move on.
Shout out to Cam.
Plus, we didn't bring DeMarcus Ware back. We ain't bring DeMarco Murray back. We ain't bring Tony Romo back. So that's just how this front office do. So
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Cam McNeil for making the donation to help grow the nation. Salute.
See someone in the comments asking about T. Will. T. Will is not going to be cut, I don't think, because it's $7.5 million to cut him, and it's $4.5 million, I think, to keep him. So there's no sense in cutting T. Will right now. Now next year that completely changes. It'll be the same to keep him or cut him. And I think if these young receivers develop the way they think they will, I think he'll be cut then. But for now, I think he's safe. They might even just be hoping that his foot injury keeps him out a few weeks and let some of these younger guys get their kind of, feet in the door and get used to it and start to acclimate a little bit to the NFL game. But I don't see T. Will going anywhere yet.
Unless they find a way to give Terrence Williams some type of let me see. Because if he gets suspended, then you can cut him just take his money, whatever. And I ain't saying that's gonna happen, but I mean, if you can find a way to magically put some THC in his body, like on like Cowboy Cookie Day, give him the special cookies, and he failed the drug test. Then you can get rid of him. Then you can get you can ditch him then. But if you really don't want him on your team, though, you can take that hit though, because I mean, next year we're gonna have what? 70 mil, 60 mil, some crazy number like that on the cap. If you really don't want Terrence on your team, we've seen the Cowboys cut guys and eat money if we really don't want them there. Scandrick count dead money on the cap this year, but we don't want him there, so we dished him. So if they really don't want Terrence, they'll find a way.
Miles Austin.
That
contract. We still
pay that man 5 years, and he's just sitting on the couch chilling. Just so yeah.
He was, or is he still a coach for us?
I think they let him go.
I think they did. I think they let him. He either moved on or they let him go like within the last year. But he was on our staff for a while, getting double paychecks.
Double for your trouble, man, and it's just what it is. All right, so we talked about this wide receiving core going down the line. I think about the receiver by committee. Where do you see this team at collectively, guys, as far as his receiving core?
Like what? In what regard? Like ranking that within the receiving cores in the league?
Right, like not against the league, because I heard that we like bottom 30, without even without playing the game. So where do you guys rank the receiving core within? You're like who's going to be the standout guy? I heard Allen Hurns, but do you guys hear any echoes down there of the player that's stepping out, showing up?
I think Gallup shows big late in the year. Yeah.
I told you I like Gallup from the beginning. I liked him, before the draft. I liked him. He was unsung. I mean, like I said, I liked the way he did his routes. I liked his strong hands. I liked the way he did play physical when he got the ball, and it feels like he plays He just has an attitude when he plays. I don't know if it's Dez Bryant-ish, but he does seem like he plays with an attitude, and he feels like I feel like he plays with something to prove. And he's a big, strong kid. If you looked at him comparison to the size of the other receivers, he's a nice, strong kid. I don't know if Allen Hurns is going to be our number one. I mean, he's like I said before, he's never been on number one in the league. He's always been a secondary type receiver, and you can move him and flex him in different positions. So I really want to see Gallup step up. I mean, he went in the third round, but he could have went higher. He could have been a second round pick. So I saw him at the combine too. He was smooth all the way through in every drill he did. He looked really good. He was one of the receivers that I had an eye on. He did good in his bench press and everything. So I liked him, and I hope he takes the reins, and I think he can. They said he's already been showing up, and he's already been a guy that's been hard to guard. He's been high marks as far as what he's learning as far as his routes and the offense. So, and he's getting it quickly. So I'm excited, and I think that Cedric Wilson, I thought he was going to be like a guy that was going to be a bubble guy, but, you know, he's got the Boise State bulletproof vest on him. So I feel like, you know, he's got good size too. They like them big receivers. So, and he's going to slip in. He's a good route runner. And we need guys that can be able to get open. We don't necessarily need, I don't feel like we need 4-3, 4-2 guys everywhere, but we need guys that can be able to get open and make plays after the catch. And that's what's going to be key to us. Dak doesn't have to throw 30, 80-yard bombs every freaking play. Throw a good hitch or throw a good slant and let that guy go and get yards after catch, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
Honestly, who really cares where our, receivers rank amongst the rest of the league, man? Because like what we do on this team is not really dependent on one guy standing out. We're gonna run the ball to pretty much dictate the box. Like the defense ain't gonna do what they want to do. Not with Zeke on the field, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if they line up in some type of zone look, we know that, Dak has the ability to find the holes in the zone. That's what he was great at. And when they do give us man coverage, which is what's going to happen most of the time, you beat man coverage with nuanced route runners. We have nothing but nuanced route runners. We purposely cut the fat to have nothing but nuanced route runners. So, and then like you ain't got to be amazing, super standout. You know what I'm saying? You just got to catch the ball when Dak throw it to you, get a little bit of yak, get the first down, and we back to running again.
Exactly.
Like, so as long as we win ball games, I hope we rank 32nd in best receivers, because who cares? As long as our formula win ball games, all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good topic, man. Good topic. Good stuff.
I agree.
I wasn't screaming at y'all.
You always screaming. We love it, though.
We love it, man. We love it.
That crap get on my nerves, dog. Like Tom Brady throwing touchdowns to Danny Amendola, and we act like this stuff matters.
Chris Hogan.
You know what I'm saying?
Chris Hogan.
Hogan. Off the top ropes.
Look, Rex Burkhead and little ass run out on the field. Look like he in middle school, but look, he gets open. Tom gets in the ball when he's open, and he gets his yak.
The yards after catch. That's what I keep trying to tell people. We don't need – everybody wants to say Dak got to throw these long bombs, man. Y'all don't watch football, man. It's them yards after – it's that yak. It's the yards after catch. You get them on a short pass, let them get them yards after catch. And just like you said, when you get a 5 – it's second and 5. You get a yards after catch. You get 17 yards on that play. Now we rolling. Now we come to the line. Maybe we do a quick hurry up on your ass. You don't know what we're going to do. Guess what? Now that defense is like, what the hell are they going to do? Zeke coming, pass. That's where we want to keep them off balance. And that's what this offense, I feel like, is going to do, because now when we had Jason Witten and you had Dez Bryant before, you knew they were going to get the ball. You knew Dak was going to have to throw to him. So that defense circled and moved the defense accordingly. Now you don't have that. And I feel like whenever Dak has not had Dez Bryant in the game, you've seen it last year, you've seen it before. He played more comfortable, and when he's able to spread it around, he plays more free, and you can see his looseness.
Then we got that web back, dog. So you know what they're gonna do when they see that web back on the field. They don't know if it's a run, it could be a pass. They don't know what the hell to do when that web back that I never heard of before the damn Cowboys get on the field. So get the W.
Get that W. That's all that matters, man. And I love Tavon Austin's skill set, so I can't wait to see it.
You know something funny, man? Over on my channel, I kind of just do like, college film. So like everybody come to my channel, like not just Cowboys. And Rams fans got salty when I was talking about Tavon Austin. And they was like, well, he sucks. He gonna do this and that, but this the difference. We don't need him to be the 8th overall pick.
Yeah,
we need him to be whatever 6th round guy that we traded for him. So if he, like if he gets a few handoffs, a couple catches, maybe a touchdown from outrunning some linebacker, because that's how we gonna mismatch him. Cool. Cool. He don't have to be some game breaker for us. He just got to be a piece of the puzzle.
Yes, indeed. And let the Rams worry about the Rams, because on top of that, they had Jeff Fisher, and he don't know how to use nobody at that time, So.
Yeah.
Well, you also got to look at that. They also could be haterism, because now they may be looking like, damn, y'all might actually do something with this dude, because you got Zeke back there. Y'all might actually do something with him, and I think actually he's going to turn up with us, especially in the punt returns. That's what we've been missing in a long time, is that punt return, kick return. We've been missing that special team element for a very long time, and I feel like he can bring that to the table. And anytime he touches the ball, I don't care what the hell you say, anytime he touches the ball, you are fearful, because you know he can't take it to the house. And that's the type of threat that you want, and that's the type of threat we haven't had in a very long time.
Speed kills.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Threats kill as well.
Right.
Multiple threats.
Let's see. So I think we've run through the gist of the run sheet. We could open it up for a little bit of questions from the commenters if we'd like.
Commenters.
Question. What defensive end ain't gonna make the team? Because I don't know if y'all talked about this yet, but I've been real excited about Randy Gregory, and I've been thinking about how I would assassinate Coney Ealy to make room for him being on the team. You know what I'm saying? Whenever he comes back or whatever. So who do y'all think won't make the team, and like what y'all expect from Randy Gregory, man? Because I'm excited.
Charles
Tapper is my cut.
Yeah, Charles Tapper was my cut, months ago. Just because the health issue, and like I said, I don't think he loves football. I just don't feel like he's going to play in the NFL any longer. If he doesn't make it with us, I don't see him going somewhere and blowing up or anything like that. I think he's just going to slowly fade away. Coney Ealy, I think he's definitely going to make the team, just because of what, how the Cowboys are, where they bring somebody, they say, oh, we wanted to draft you 4 years ago. When they be on that type of band, you're going to make that team just because they're talking about you. But as far as my expectations for Randy Gregory, I ain't gonna lie, that dude gave me chills in my body. When we got him out of Nebraska, I knew the weed and all that good stuff, but I knew he was the guy. I knew when they gave him that 94, I wasn't mad when they gave him 94. I was like, okay, that's cool. You can give it to him because he's that dude that can do it, because he has that damn bend. When you see certain guys come out the league with that height and that size, and when he came out of college, they were like, oh, he's too small. No, he's that wiry strong. There's certain guys that play in the game that they can be a 245 and a 250, but they are strong. And that's what he is. He is just not the regular type player. And that damn bend, I don't know what to say, but it's that damn bend. Wow. When I see that bend, it gets me excited, because that's the dude. That's the dude.
Boy, you get me ready. You make me want to hit somebody, boy.
I love him. I don't care if you smoke trees. I'm sorry, but damn, there's a lot of people smoke weed. So people that try to point a finger and say, oh, you should be smoking weed and blazing blunts right now. Wow. So they should just stop all that. Randy Gregory is the truth. And if he gets his mind right, he's going to change our whole damn defense. And y'all know damn well.
Hey, let me just say something.
You remember when he came on saying he was tired?
I don't give a hell.
He's up now.
I don't give a hell.
That's why your boy Roger Goodell said, you know what, Randy Gregory,
we ain't gonna play in them playoffs. In 1 sack, get the hell out of there. Suspended.
Because Aaron Rodgers, he would have been running for his life. He would have
been all over Aaron Rodgers, dog. Man, you damn well know that's the guy. I don't care what DeMarcus Lawrence did last year, and DeMarcus Lawrence's hand placement, his technical game is fierce. But that mother sucker Randy Gregory,
woo!
Listen, man, I love me some Randy Gregory, dog, and I'm constantly arguing with folks, dog. They like, I don't want Randy Gregory. He gonna come back rusty. He gonna come back this and that. And I'm like, fam, what made him good ain't really about sitting down somewhere. Like, what made him good? He was born with. He can't lose.
Right.
He can't lose that length. He can't lose the size of them hands. He can't lose body contortion. He can't lose that bend, fam. So when he come back, Brett Brown gonna have to get him in shape. I'll give you that, because he been wearing polo shirts and khakis at his recent job. You know what I'm saying? But when he get back in shape, I expect him to hit the ground running. Now, I don't expect him to come out, you know, in that top tier Vic Beasley 24 sacks type of thing. That'll be too good to be damn true. Tyron Crawford would never see another snap in Dallas if Randy Gregory come out and get 24 snaps off the rip. They're gonna change the drug policy. He get 24 sacks off the rip. However, I do see him stepping in to be the all-time right defensive end to keep DeMarcus Lawrence where he belongs.
Yes, right and left, right and left
on that left side, and that's gonna be nasty.
Oh my gosh, right? Are you serious? Are you serious? I want to smack somebody right now. And that's why I told you I was frustrated with David Irvin, because you sit there and think if you're playing in that Deacon defense and you would have had a David Irvin in the middle and a Randy Gregory on the right side and a DeMarcus Lawrence on the left. Are you freaking serious? Are you freaking serious?
Okay. But it's okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna listen to you.
Week 5 through 19.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm gonna take a breath.
What 20? Whatever. Week 5 through 20. We got it.
All right. I'm gonna take a breath.
If we can get all they asses on the field at the same.
Oh my gosh. That rotation is gonna be, man. Are you serious? And don't let us wear them blue jerseys and come in your house. It's gonna be a lot of sacks in them blue jerseys in your house. It's gonna be like 8 sacks. It's gonna be 8 sacks.
This is total pandemonium. And remember,
and the Cowboys are back.
Yes.
Jane, bro. Jane, let me ask you a question, dog.
Oh,
how would you assassinate Tyrone Crawford if we can get Randy Gregory? What would you do? I would
bring him to dinner and just give him some poison soup.
I would either kick him off a bridge, pillow smother him, or I would set him up to kill John Wick's dog. PDP, what would you do?
The John Wick sounds good.
John Wick's dog for 400.
How would you assassinate Tyrone Crawford if we can get Randy Gregory back? And you know what? Tyrone Crawford is a vet. He's a leader in his locker room. But damn it, if we get Randy Gregory back, not Randy Gregory, but Randy Gregory.
Right. Dog. I mean, we all know it. Like, we all know. I remember it was rookie year when I was just watching. I remember that Giants game when he got hurt. And I just remember he was in that backfoot. He was almost there getting Eli. He was almost there. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's true. It's true. We found him. It's true. It's true. And then when he said Randy Gregory ankle injury, I said, damn, he's going to be smoking that chronic. It's over.
Hey, y'all got to read the comment sections on how they talking about how they would assassinate not Randy Gregory, but
Tyrone Crawford.
Tyrone Crawford for Randy Gregory. Oh,
some people are a little inventive.
Hey, as a disclaimer, no dog will hurt during this death.
Right.
I chose the John Wick
Peter
one.
will be on your way.
Fictional dog.
Buddy.
Man.
Territory said, yo, he said, Vach, it's new leaders every year, dog. We don't need Crawford. He said we get new leaders every year. Man, look, Tyrone Crawford has definitely served his purpose. But if we can get Nebraska Randy Gregory on the right end, if we can get DeMarcus at his left spot, Irvin at 3, Collins at 1, we still got Taco rotating, Armstrong rotating. You know, Coney Ely might get assassinated too, but fam. Man, that's that defense that we want.
That's the defense we've been envisioning for years. This is the defense we've been envisioning for years, and it's right at the cusp. And then when you have the young secondary behind it, and then you still have Sean Lee and Jaylon Smith is another year in the fold, and then I think the Vander Esch kid is going to come right in the fold. Man, this defense, if you don't get chills and goosebumps about this defense, I should just smack you right now.
If Leighton Vander Esch is the 11th best person on your defense, we doing all right.
You feel me? And I think he's going to turn up just because I feel like he's going to feed off of everybody else, and he's going to slow cook. Oh, man. You know
something I never thought about with Vander Esch, though? Like, y'all watch film. So, like, when we see Hitchens and Jaylon Smith on the field and Sean Lee not there, they look a little more lost. But all of a sudden, when Sean Lee on the field with them, they see things a snap quicker. Sean Lee going to be telling Leighton Vander Esch what to run. You know what I mean? Sean Lee gonna be calling, look out for counter, bubble screen, da. So Leighton is gonna be one step ahead. So, man, can we put some braces on Sean? Can we make sure he stretch? Can he just, you know what I mean? Can we put him on the field? That's all.
Right. I mean, I'm telling you, him talking to Van Der Esch, and I feel like Van Der Esch is that guy that's a learner. He's a guy that soaks up the knowledge. He's a guy that's going to be at home reading and studying. He's that guy. I mean, he is that guy that soaks up that knowledge, and he's smart, and he's just. I feel like those instincts. I mean, oh my gosh, I just feel like him next to Lee, man. It's just, oh my gosh, it's going to be him. It's going to be nice, man.
Big game. You said that you saw that picture of Jaylon Smith. You said he's a huge guy, right? Actually,
yeah. And I seen
and then you saw Van Der Esch. Go and break that down for everybody.
When I seen that picture, when I seen the first picture, and Smith was talking to him, and Jaylon Smith's a big dude, like for real. He's a big boy. You know what I'm saying? 6'2", 250, strong. And when I seen him looking next to Van Der Esch, I keep on looking like, damn, Van Der Esch is big. Like, and when you see him run, he runs big. Like, you remember when you saw Rolando McClain? That's the excitement that I get, because now when you saw Rolando McClain, no matter what you thought of Rolando McClain, you didn't care. You didn't care his past. You didn't care how he messed up. You didn't care. Just play Sunday. That's all you cared about, because you knew if he played and he started in that damn middle, he was changing our whole defense, because he gave us physicality. And that's what we have been craving, physicality. And that's why we love Rolando McClain so much, because he gave us that physicality and he gave us that presence at linebacker, and he changed our whole defense.
And I tell you what, if Leighton Van Der Esch all he got to do is learn how to use his hands, he'll be better than Rolando, because he's more athletic, he covered better. And now downhill, it's hard to get better than Rolando McClain downhill.
Okay.
But everything else, though, Leighton Van Der Esch got the edge on him. Like, McClain, he was out of shape, man. He couldn't run that good, but he was nasty. He was nasty in the middle. You couldn't run up the middle. Now, Van Der Esch is big enough to kind of be that dominant in the middle. He ain't going to be as nasty, but sideline to sideline, he better than McClain. Coverage, athletically, he better, 100%.
And mentally.
100%.
That's the key.
100%, Mr. Wolf. So look, Leighton Van Der Esch, if you're watching this, you're not. If you're watching this, Leighton Van Der Esch, just use your hands, man. I know you was running free in Boise State, and I know those guys in Oregon never got to the second level, but Leighton Van Der Esch, you strong, dog. And I know you strong because I've seen you be strong, but use your hands, man, please. And we gonna go to the Super Bowl, Leighton Van Der Esch.
Ooh, he said the Super Bowl.
I
said the word.
I like him. He said it. Did you say it?
Woo!
You said it? Okay.
Prospect Silver&Blue Nation. I
like it. I love it. I mean, I'm excited, man. I mean,
Randy Gregory's the missing piece. That's all.
He's the piece. He's been the piece, and that's why Jerry Jones, when everybody's like, cut his ass. That's why Jerry Jones didn't, because he knew, and everybody in that damn building knew, that we're not going to cut him because he is the piece. We're not going to do that. We're going to work with him. We're going to give him. We're going to exhaust every last inch of time we can with him, because he's the piece. We gave you 94 for a damn reason. And everybody should know that. When Dez Bryant got on the team, they gave him 88. You knew why. You knew it.
I just want to see him chase Aaron Rodgers, dog. Like, I don't really care about nothing else. Like, just chase, because
by the back of the jersey chasing him.
Just grab horse collar. I take the penalty. I don't care. Just do it. Do it for the culture. Do it for America, man.
Can't you just see it? Like, I'm just getting excited right now, him coming off that edge, and it's just changing our defense. Like, now you're just going to see. Now you're just going to finally see. It's like we've been waiting for these years so we can finally see this damn defense like we want.
James, you a coach. Who do you double team on that D-line, dog? And I'm smiling when I say this. Who do you double team? I'm smiling big. Who do you double team on that D-line, dog?
I don't know, but I
ain't double team nobody. You just got to tell your people to block. That's all you can do.
You tell your team to hold. The ref's not going to call it. Just hold.
Are you serious? when it's a third down and it's like, say you need a first down and you got Irvin and you got Randy and you got Lawrence. Are you serious? And then let's send some blitzes at you. Because we're going to be aggressive. Let's send a Gito blitz. Let's send a Jaylon Smith, just a torpedo blitz right up the middle on your way. Just let's go. Let's go.
What's the day? June? Damn. It's June. It's June.
It's June.
You got time.
We haven't hit July yet. Boy.
I'm be cool. I'm be calm.
Excited, man. Let's go, dog.
I'm ready to play, man.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Literally, you ready to line up and
I'm ready to play, man. Like I want to play.
Mm-hmm. What else we got, DDP?
Boy, what else we got, DDP, man? What else we got?
We pretty well hit the run sheet. We can take a couple questions from the comment section real quick if you guys want.
Did y'all know Randy Gregory got a sack in every single game he was in preseason and regular season? Did y'all know that? Yeah, I know
what?
That's not right.
He got a sack in every game he was in. Preseason and regular
preseason.
From what year you talking? 2015. He didn't get a sack at all the whole year.
I'm talking about the games he was in.
2015, he played several games.
Look it up, James. I mean, damn it,
he got one career sack and that was against the Filthy, I think.
Let me see, because I know
he had one sack.
He only played. How many games did he play his rookie year?
He threw a tantrum during his rookie year on Twitter. Not a tantrum, but he tweeted basically complaining when the wheels were falling off the bus, like, still don't have any sacks. And that was like midway through the season.
That wasn't Randy Gregory. What?
That was absolutely Randy Gregory.
You don't challenge JDP. He said that was absolutely Randy Gregory. He said that was absolutely Randy Gregory.
That's our statistician.
He said that was absolutely Randy Gregory.
Absolutely. Randy Gregory stat sheet.
One sack.
Let me look.
One sack, 0 in 2015, despite playing in 12 games.
I didn't say
he played 12 games.
And by the way, 2 games in 2016, still just the 1 sack.
I didn't say 2015 and 2016. I
said every game preseason and that.
Every game before that, he got a sack. I didn't say 2016, 20. If you wouldn't listen, I didn't say that. Move on.
So in which season do we prove your point right?
I didn't say nothing about Randy Gregory. Move on. I said he's coming back and he's not on drugs anymore.
But you'll kick Earl Thomas off a bridge for Randy Gregory.
Off a bridge? No, like, you don't understand. I will stab him with the damn pen he signed the contract with for Nebraska, Randy Gregory, dog. I don't care about a 30-year-old free safety. I would love to have him, but I ain't trying to give up resources to get him. I would much rather fill my lineup to get Connor Williams. But man, Randy Gregory. Man.
I mean, and you know what? To me, on the offensive side of the ball, it's frustrating because I don't know what the hell is going on with this situation, but I feel like not that he's the answer, but I just really feel like what's pissing me off with this situation with Rico Gathers is that we got another guy on the offensive side of the ball that is different. He's not like any other, and you have that element, and it's like we had to figure out a way to figure this out to get him on that field because he's an element that no other teams really have. And when you have that type of element with that type of size, you have to be able to create mismatches and use that. So if he's a 4th string because he's not blocking, figure something out. But we got to get you got to figure out to get more. We seen the preseason. It's not be fake. Something happened with this because I need to see 2 tight end sets and guys both going out and you're seeing who the hell do we guard?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, man.
Let me ask y'all a Illuminati question real fast though. So Randy Gregory's not allowed to be with the team just yet, but knowing the Cowboys and the Joneses, they very much think ahead. Now he's not working out with Britt Brown, but we know Randy's coming back. Do you think they sent some dude over there in some Reebok shirt, you know, with no Cowboys paraphernalia to just work him out? You know what I'm saying? Like, like in some high school parking lot or something. Him and some dude that ain't got no Cowboys clothes on, just been working him out for the past month or so.
That's Jerry's baby. He said he's my baby. He's an ugly baby. But he's my baby.
It gotta be, you know, people talking about he gonna be out of shape. I think it'll be like if I was the owner of any team, it'll be irresponsible to know we getting this dude back and not under the table doing something to get him back in shape. I bet you somebody been working Randy Gregory out.
But you know, just like you said though, Vach, Randy Gregory is a different type of athlete. He's not that type of guy that has to sit there and work out forever to get back in shape. All he needs to do is play a few practice and he's right back there because he's not like everybody else. He's a different type of athlete. So you're not going to see him get a big belly and get all fat and out of shape because he's just not built like that. Like I said, I keep going back to Alden Smith. Even though he was a nutcase, the dude had talent. And he was one of them all-world talents. You could see Alden Smith get suspended. You saw when he got suspended when he came right back. What was he doing? terrorizing the field because he's just one of those type of players.
Man, James, that's all good, but I'll be sending down Rod Marinelli and Leon Lett straight to Randy Gregory house with the damn glasses with the nose and the mustache on it, looking like black up in that thing. What's up, stud? And they're gonna be working that boy out in the backyard, dog.
I mean, you know they was talking to him,
yeah,
man.
you know they got somebody.
Come on, man. You know they got him. They got him because they know how close this is. You don't think everybody in Cowboys headquarters is tasting this? All they want to hear is saying reinstated. Everybody in Cowboys headquarters is going to do backflips when they say reinstated because they all know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
They all know. Everybody knows. We all know. I don't care what DeMarcus Lawrence got 14.5 sacks. You ain't Randy Gregory, my dog.
Man,
Gregory's everything.
I was about to say I would kick DeMarcus Lawrence off a bridge for Randy Gregory.
Don't
I'd
do
just
it.
rather have both of them.
Right.
I'd rather have both. I was about to say something crazy. You right. No.
I'm saying, then you, like I said, you can sprinkle in the Coney Ely, and you can sprinkle Armstrong. I mean, then you can sprinkle those guys at Taco Charlton. When you're not seeing those guys, when you have to key on and worry about, here comes Randy, here comes Lawrence, then that's when Taco Charlton comes in and gets that sack. That's when those other guys are coming in. It's going to feel like we'll finally have a defense where you don't know where we're actually coming. We have multiple threats to come at you, and that's what I've been longing for a long time because people just haven't feared our defense. People felt like, and I just got tired of the disrespect when I would listen, especially your boy McCarthy from the Green Bay, and I'll listen to their halftime stuff. They would always be like, well, we felt we could do what we wanted, and Tom Coughlin would always talk about, yeah, we felt like we could do what we wanted. We should have beat them. We should have took it down the field, but it was just us. And I'm just tired of teams feeling like that they can just do what they want on our defense, and I'm done with it. And we need to come in there and smack these fools and let them know that this ain't the same damn Dallas defense that you've seen, and we're gonna kick your ass now.
Yes,
so I got a question.
Yes. Go ahead.
DDP, since you numbers guy. So when you're suspended and you come back, like, do they just freeze your contract? So what year would he be on when he comes back? Like, when do we have to talk about paying him? The deal.
Well, he didn't get paid the whole time.
Yeah, he didn't get paid, but I don't think. Yeah, it's without pay, but I don't think that it freezes the contract or anything like that. Let me take a look real quick.
It should reinstate it for this year if he's playing, because I know those other years he was suspended, he got no pay.
Right, it's concurrent. You know, whatever your contract is.
And he's going to be cheap anyway. Even if he blows up, he's still going to be cheap because people that's still over his head. He's got to have multiple years of proving that he's away from that the weed. I mean, just like DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, we waited how many years for him, and he blew up. But you're still like, we need to see one more year of it. I need to see one more year at least.
Because the boy in Minnesota, Hunter, just got his contract and whatnot, and I know Lawrence gonna get one because we've heard Steven say it's hard to find edge rushers, and damn, look like we got one. So I fully expect us to sign Lawrence or whatnot. But if we can get two of them, though. Man, if we get two of them dudes, like,
we gotta do this while all this stuff is kind of cheap now. We got the line signed up, all the line is signed up for at least 3 years together. So we don't so at least we don't have to worry about that, but we gotta get this now. It's like this is the time, just like Sean Lee said, more than ever. It's more important to get it. You know what I mean? Because that Dak and Zeke contract is coming up and we gotta win now.
Yes.
So here's some insight on the Gregory thing. So I'm just going to read from the article here on it. So it's basically talking about how his contract situation is a little murky because of basically missing the better part of 2 years. Says, for what it's worth, Gregory is still part of the Cowboys salary cap picture. The CBA allows a team to cancel the guaranteed portion of a player's contract if they get suspended, but the framework for Gregory still applies. After missing most of 2 seasons, though, things aren't as straightforward as the 4-year deal he signed in 2015 were at the time. Under the 2011 CBA, all draft picks are signed to a 4-year deal. Gregory's first year went in the books, but 2016 was interesting. Played less than 6 games, so he did not accrue a season towards free agency. So it sounds like, depending on how many games he played, that there is some degree of it kind of freezing in that regard.
So if he pick up on his third.
So I think he saved a year. Of the 2 he missed, he basically 2016 didn't count towards that, I think, is what it's implying.
So we got 2 more cheap years of Randy, I think.
I think so. I think that's what this is suggesting.
Cheap Randy.
Now let's get this Super Bowl, dog. Because look, man, Sean Lee gonna be 35 before you know it, dog.
You know what? No. So he's restricted free agent after 2018.
That's after this season.
That's tomorrow.
So I mean, you sign up to another quick 1-year deal because he's still going to be cheap. He's not going to cost a lot of money. Absolutely. So you're still winning. Yeah. I mean, that's why when people were like cut him. No, you're not going to cut him. Just like you weren't going to cut a David Irvin. Because you know why? Because you put a 2nd-round tender on him. Nobody bid. There was like $4 million. They got him for 2.9. He's there for cheap. Why would you cut a 6'7" dinosaur, even though he is a goofball, and he's only costing you 2.9 million? That's just dumb.
They got 8 sacks in 9 games, 80%.
Yep, dude is a wrecking machine. Absolutely will take over a game at times. So as much of a lughead as he is, you try and get everything you can out of him. Even if you don't want to commit to him long term, by no means do you send him home today.
Thank you, sir.
You don't do that.
Yes, indeed. Bailey Irving. What's going on? What's the next deal, man? Anybody else in the chat box, man? Shout out to Say Prime Time, Cowboys fan 2182, Scorpio 2 as well, Shelly, Neal, Ty Jefferson. Shout out to you guys, man. That's in the chat box, and Miss Jackie too as well.
Miss Jackie.
Everyone always wants to ask the thoughts on Rico, and one, if his situation, just the general update, and 2, if it would be better to move him at all, like wide receiver or anything like that. I don't think so.
Serious?
Yeah, that's some of the stuff in here.
Because I tell you what, Dalton Schultz finna line up right next to one of them tackles, and he gonna give whatever defender everything he got. You know what I'm saying? Hands inside, running his feet, and until Rico Gathers can fully show that, because he too big to be that soft, man. Until Rico can show up and prove that he can block for real, man, Rico might get cut this year, dog.
I called it.
I could see it happening for sure, and if he does, Dallas isn't stashing him on the practice squad at this point. Someone else will take the stab at it, or he might not. Right, and he might not even be interested in returning because he's tired of it too. I think he's at the point where if it's not going to work here, he's just going to go wherever to make it work. He doesn't care.
But see, here's my thing. Just like we talked about a while ago, DDP. I think it was like about 3 weeks ago. We were talking about the Rico Gathers situation. Everybody's like, watch him cut, and he's gonna go over here to New England. Why does everybody think that somebody gets cut and everybody automatically goes to New England? There's other freaking 30-some other teams that might pick him up. And guess what? He might go to that team and he might not do diddly poo because he never played football before. So everybody thinks we're gonna just cut him and he's gonna go somewhere and catch 60 passes the next year after never playing football ever.
That boy gonna
ever.
Yep.
Ever.
He gonna catch 3 passes.
You know what I'm saying? And I keep on comparing it to that Julius Thomas situation because everybody's talking about Julius Thomas was sweet, but he was sweet because Peyton Manning made him sweet. Julius Thomas was never sweet because we went to the Jets, you didn't hear about him no more.
Yeah, Vashante Shenko with the Vikings was the same thing. Brett Favre made him look great as soon as Favre wasn't there, or even just the next year when Favre looked at completely done at that point. He fell off huge.
I mean, it's reality. Yeah. You got to be able to block in this game. I mean, they're like, well, and I was see the article from, I think it was KD Drummond. He was like, well, why would you need him to block when you got the best offensive line? You got this and you got that. But I'm just sitting there at the end of the day and thinking that you're really going to keep a guy on a roster, an active 46-man roster, just to use him for the red zone? That don't make sense.
How many tight ends we keep?
How about this? Who would you rather have on your 46 or your 53? Would you rather have Dorrance Armstrong or Rico Gathers?
I'd rather have Dorrance Armstrong.
Would you rather have what's the kid to play corner, Anthony Brown or like Rico Gathers?
Anthony Brown.
That one's actually a good
Y'all better stop sleeping on Anthony Brown. He had a solid.
I probably lean with Rico in that regard.
But I see that damn size on Rico, and I just see Anthony Brown. He's not special.
Yeah.
I keep Anthony Brown. I won't look back at all. What about okay? What about Bo Scarborough or Rico Gathers?
Bo knows.
I like Bo.
It's just
I like Bo.
If you Rico, you automatically fighting for your like everybody, like the top 3 guys at every spot probably gonna get guaranteed a spot on the team. So if you're Rico, you fighting against other people that's fighting their way on the team. Guys like Noah Brown, guys like Lance Lenore, guys like hell, Taven Austin. He ain't really guaranteed this spot neither. You fighting against those guys. And I think all those guys bring a different value than Rico does. Because look, if you're Rico in this offense, you ain't really running routes great and you ain't blocking great. But you can jump over somebody. You're going to have to do a little more, fam.
What if Rico get like 4 touchdowns, 280 yards? I'm talking about for the entire preseason.
For the whole preseason?
You know, 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Well, Mike White must ain't be throwing to nobody else if he got 3 touchdowns.
How many touchdowns he had last year before Frazier?
He had 2 touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns.
He had 3 touchdowns.
3, yeah, 3. I think 2 was in one game.
He had.
Remember, these were against 4th stringers.
Right, so it's hard to evaluate that, brother.
He scored, but on them plays that he scored, he was doing the wrong assignment. He ran the wrong route. So, you just got to pick and choose, man.
See, this is
Rush landed in there.
I think this is what also has happened too. I think we gassed as Cowboys fans. We gassed him up, and I feel like they gassed him up too because you saw. He probably got too full of himself. Felt like, I'm Rico Gathers. Y'all not going to cut me. And then now they're like, okay, you know what? We brought Dalton Schultz in. Blake Jarwin's looking good. Now we're not talking about Rico Gathers no more like they were before. So now it's like, I better start working. And now you're going to see, just like Voch was saying, that Dalton Schultz kid is nasty. I mean, I don't care what he was really catching at Stanford. I mean, I think he had like 50-something catches his last year. But if you just look at him, the dude can block. I mean,
I got that Rico stat line if you want it.
He is really good as far as blocking. He takes it. It looks like he takes it personal to him. It means something. And the dude is just technical with his game. And them is the type of dudes that surgically kill you. It's not always them athletic dudes that kill you. It's those guys that really study and know the game. And he came from Stanford. Best believe he came from a guy that really knows the game.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
2017 Rico Gathers, 7 catches, 106 yards, 15 a pop. 53 yards per game, long of 26, 2 TDs.
Damn.
That's good. Hey, what if Rico, and I've said this before, what if he's just a baller, a gamer, and not a good practicer? If that's a word.
It happens. I mean, that's the thing with Dak, right? Dak is reportedly better in games than he is in practice.
So how many tight ends make this team?
Jarwin, Swaim.
Jarwin, Swaim, and Schultz is definitely make it. I think that preseason is going to have to be a big indicator of what's really going to happen. These preseason games is what's going to really happen. If Rico doesn't really do nothing in these preseason games, he's going to get cut.
I think 3 make it, and I think Rico's got a battle for that last spot because I think it's Swaim or Rico that probably goes.
And whoever can just win over
Schultz and Jarwin feel safe to me.
Yeah.
But can we afford that though? Can we afford to have 4 tight ends on this team, dog? Because we got to find a way to fit Jameis
Olawale. Yeah,
that's why I was saying.
We singing over here.
I was saying 3 is because you
not just that.
Gotta have that spot.
You think they're probably going to go heavy on the defensive line too in the first few games with David Irvin being suspended. You think they probably, receiver is up in the air, so we might go heavy on receiver. So you wouldn't think you would go heavy tight end when you have other spots that need to probably go heavy in those positions. Linebacker.
See, everybody in the chat box saying 3 tight ends, but you said linebacker too as well. One of the guys are going to.
Well, I mean, we're going to keep at least 6 linebackers, right? You're going to have
name them if you can. I know March Miller. Somebody been talking about him.
March Miller, the kid from Green Bay.
Joe Thomas,
and then
Damian Wilson.
I don't know if Covington. He's more seems like he special teams guy. I don't know. He might get some snaps, but he was never anything special at Indiana. I watched the tape. He was never anything special, but he's got good size. He does have good size, though.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, Kyle Wilbur stayed on the team for how long?
He was a special team nightmare. He was a guy that get out there, block punts.
He was a nightmare when he started at linebacker too.
Oh yeah,
terrible,
horrible. They even put him on defensive end.
I remember when they hyped him when he came out of Wake Forest.
Couldn't play.
I remember when they hyped him when he came. What did he come out of Wake Forest? Demon Deacons.
I don't even remember.
I don't know, but he had horrible side-to-side motion and movement.
We talking Kyle Wilbur?
Yeah,
Kyle Wilbur.
Straight line speed. That's all
right.
he had.
I mean,
yeah.
But
See if he Wake Forest.
He saved us that Minnesota game. 2 years ago.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's played what? He stayed on the team, what, 4 years, 5 years?
He on the team still?
Special team
Just-
warrior.
He's on Oakland now.
He just now got cut.
Because look, he was on
just
the team.
now.
I think he left in free agency.
Did he?
I thought he was on the team, man.
Yeah, he was Wake Forest. He left in free agency this year.
Okay.
And where the
He
special
went
team
with
coach went?
Basant. Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's
He
what I
went
say.
with
He's a special
Basant,
team
yeah.
warrior, you know.
Right.
So these bottom heat guys is going to all relate to the rely on the special team play. I think that who would you rather have, a Darius Jackson, Bo Scarborough, or a who's the other guy, Jamez Olawale? Those are
I'd
going to
rather
be
have
hard
Jamez.
cuts. Yeah.
I think Jamez can bring a new dimension, used sparingly, but I think he can have an impact.
How many running backs? How many
I
running
don't think
backs are
they
you going
keep
with?
Darius Jackson just because they're gonna fall in love with Bo Scarborough's name. And then you know Nick Saban, and they're over there talking about Nick Saban and Jason. He personally told Jason Garrett to get Bo Scarborough. I don't know. When you become a favorite with the Cowboys under their staff, there ain't nothing happening to you. When they like you, you're gonna be on the damn team.
It is a weird thing, though, with Jason Garrett being on the Saban coaching tree, that Dallas, until Scarborough, had not drafted an Alabama player since, I think, 2001.
Bo might not make the team.
Might not, but I think he's got a shot at it.
They're going to give him every opportunity, though. They're going to give him every opportunity because you know Zeke's not going to play a lot in that preseason. They're going to give Bo that damn ball.
If Gus Johnson didn't make the team, then Bo Scarborough ain't making the team.
You don't think he makes it?
Gus the bus, baby.
I mean, I think the 4 running backs that we have is going to be Zeke, Rod Smith, Taven Austin, and Jamez Olawale because they're going to consider him a running back. So it's Bo and Darius to pretty much run for preseason, whatever. Luckily, Bo is a rookie, so he can do practice squad, but you only got 7 practice squad spots, and I think it's going to be a fight for them practice squad.
Because we're going to have a lot of practice squad players, man. We're going to have a lot of good players that's going to get cut down. I mean,
we still got Trey Williams. We still got Trey Williams from I forgot what school he went to, but he's on this team, running back.
Trey Williams?
Yeah, I remember Trey Williams.
Does he come from Auburn?
I want to say A&M. Okay. Somebody in the chat box know. Maybe DDP know because
sounds like Auburn.
Yeah, Trey Williams.
Williams. He's on our
Why don't you Google it, DDP?
That's what I'm working on.
Somebody A&M. Somebody put A&M.
A&M. Yeah.
He's a I guess poor man's Lance Dunbar.
Yep.
So man, he's super poured in.
Do we carry?
But he might light it up during the preseason. You know how preseason go, and everybody like, put this guy in. You know,
quarterback, 2 or 3 of them. What we gonna do about that?
2.
Oh, man. Go with 2, man.
2.
Mike White gonna have to be on the practice squad, man.
He's gonna have to be because we cannot let him go. We cannot let him go. He gotta go practice squad. Don't let him clear no waivers, no nothing, because he's gonna get took.
And to be fair, I don't even want him on practice squad because people can take him from the practice.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna poach him. They're gonna take him.
Mike White can play, man. So we're gonna have to
take him.
Man, look, what's the kid from last? Cooper Rush might have to be the practice squad quarterback, and Mike White be the second guy because you can't risk losing Mike White, man.
No, you cannot.
Can't risk
that was a steal. That was a steal getting him in the 5th.
Agreed. I like Cooper, but he was an undrafted free agent last year, and he had one really impressive preseason, but it was literally beating out freaking Kellen Moore, and so that wasn't even that difficult of a job. I like him, but yeah, practice squad might be the thing for him, which is a weird demotion to go from number 2 quarterback to practice squad in a year, but they got a guy that I think's better. Exactly. They got a guy in the draft that's better.
He's saying strong. He's big. He's got a bigger arm than Cooper Rush. And just like I said, when I watched him in that Senior Bowl, that's what really impressed me, man. He looked confident when he came in that field, man. It looked like he just took control of that offense, and you could see the characteristics of just a really good leader, man. It was just like exciting. I'm like, when they drafted him, I'm like, oh snap!
I gotta go watch that Super Bowl, Senior Bowl game.
You need to watch the Super Bowl.
It's on my channel. Go look.
Go look at it, man.
Look, man. Look, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Luke Falk was on the other side. Mike White didn't care about none of that.
He came right in and controlled it.
Mike White went out there and put hands on them cheering, dog. Like, I love that dude. And to be fair, Dak Prescott better be good this year.
Do you feel me? That's why they picked him. I don't
Because
care what anybody tell me is that they came with Vosh, in my opinion, I feel like when they saw Mike White, they still had in their eyes, even though they're saying Dak is our guy, they're still like, if you fall though, guess what? We got a kid named Mike White who we can push right in your area. And so that's why he better. I like it because you know what? We never gave Romo, I feel like, somebody that can push him. We always just want to let Romo have his day. I feel like we always need to have somebody behind somebody pushing them to bring the best out of them so they never get comfortable.
If Dak walk up in that Jones office talking about I want $30 million a year, Dak Prescott gonna be a Cincinnati Bengals by the end of the week. And Mike White gonna be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Watch.
Who would you cut if you had to decide between Noah Brown and Lance Lamar?
Lance Lenore is looking good. He did that damn hill thing.
But he always do that at practice, though. He always do good at practice, though.
But I'm saying he had some drops in practice last year. I feel like, man, that's tough because I like Noah Brown because I'm just saying I know the pedigree from that Ohio State. And when he played at Ohio State, he was young. He was like one of the youngest receivers they had on the team. So he really wasn't getting any shining. You only saw a little glimpse of it. Ohio State has a great pedigree.
Let's break this down.
I'm gonna take Noah Brown.
You already know Cole Beasley on his team, Alan Hearn is on his team, and the boys at State.
I'm taking Noah Brown
and Gallup. So those four right there.
Big game.
Let me tell you something.
Since you was watching Ohio State closely, remember that one time they did throw on the ball and he had like 4 touchdowns.
Right, exactly.
Like Oklahoma or something.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
let my man fly.
Yeah.
So Noah Brown. Well, they might go with 6 or 7 receivers then. They put both of them on there, right?
I think Lance Lenore is still practice squad eligible. So
can't forget about Deontay Thompson too.
I think he might be the odd man out.
Frederick Wilson.
They like him though.
29 years old. They probably go with the age thing.
That's old.
Could be. Yeah. Could be. We'll see. If he's showing improving though, we'll see. But Noah Brown definitely is on that squad.
That boy gonna be a jet.
Lance Lenore probably be a jet and probably turn up.
Jeez. Man. Boy, we've been talking for straight, no commercial breaks. We just been getting this thing on, man.
That's because Watch came in here.
Yeah.
I gotta go to work tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow. Thank God. I just came from work, man. Straight on the fire on the scene, man.
That's right.
It's all good.
We got anything else, man? Shout out to everybody in the chat box, man.
Shout out to everybody. I didn't get to see everybody. There's a lot of names on there. If I didn't see your name, shout out to everybody who was on Silver and Blue Nation today. Big Game James page. Appreciate all the listeners always tuning in. We got mad love for y'all. Love every one of the support. And shit, it wouldn't be going on if it wasn't people supporting and listening. So I appreciate everyone and thank you very, very much.
Prime time. What up, Italian Cowboy? What up?
Maybe Italian Cowboy. What's up?
Yes.
In all my shows.
Yes, indeed. Hey, we're gonna go and close this thing out, man.
Yep.
DDP, man, tell them about the show, man. Tell them where they can find you at and all this stuff.
You can find me on Facebook at Dallas Prospect. Same for Twitter at Dallas Prospect. Check out the website, thedallasprospect.com. Your home for Dallas sports and all things culture. Got Cowboys, Mavericks, with that set today. So a lot of good talk there. We'll be doing a roundtable talk Sunday with Ari Timken of Phantom, and we'll also have on Any again, as well as James. If you're available, we'll have you on with that as well, talking general NBA free agency and specifically the Mavericks as well. Beyond that, we're just looking to add more weekly shows to the schedule, more pairings, whether it be Ari, computer, more with Any, whatever. We're just looking to keep growing the show.
Yes.
There it is.
There it is. Big Game James. Tell them where they can find you at, man.
Hey, like I said, check us out. We're on Facebook every Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, around 3:30, 3:45 to 5 p.m. every Sunday. Also, you can check out my page, Big Game James. It's on Facebook. Also, check us out on YouTube. I'm trying to build that page up, getting a lot more viewers. So make sure you definitely check us out on YouTube because we stream live on that page as well. Twitter, everything else. And just make sure if you're not doing anything this Saturday, 6 to 10 p.m., make sure you get on our page. All of them be broadcasting. We'll be at the Social Club. Taco Charlton be in the building. He's doing a camp for kids out there, free camp, 250 kids out there. They're looking out, feeding the kids, everything like that. He's going to be in the building. We'll be in the building. All Cowboys fans, all Cowboys all day. Holla at Taco about a few things and just have a good damn time.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget to ask the hard questions too as well. I know.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna ask it all.
Yes.
Taco, if you had to pick out a Randy Gregory or Tyron Crawford, which one would you
Exactly.
And now, you guys been waiting for, and I'm talking about the people's champ, Vach Lombardi. Go ahead and tell them where they can find you.
And you can find me at VOCHLOMBARDI. Listen, man, everything this panel do, we do it in the name of integrity. We don't lie to nobody. We don't build phony opinions just to get reactions, just to turn that into views. Everything we do it from this.
Yeah.
We do it from this. And if y'all disagree, we'll bring it to you. We'll bring it to you in the name of integrity and what we believe. That make us different than the 4-letter networks. That make us different than the peanut gallery. You can tweet them all day about something they said. They're not going to respond to you because they know they ain't got no backing behind what they said. Ain't no heart behind what they said. Ain't no true meaning behind what they said. Vach Lombardi hop on these shows. Big Game James, Law, DDP, we hop on these shows and we fuss about what we feel because we feel it.
Right.
And you don't lose nothing when you bring integrity to the table. And that's what I bring with my show, man. Go follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that. Vach Lombardi, VOCHLOMBARDI. Prove it. Do your work.
Yeah, tell them what's more important than water. I know you've been saying that too as well.
Don't forget about the Patreon, man. Because listen, Big Game James just came from his day job. Vach went to his today. We see Law Nation take his bow tie off, throw his keys. He hop on camera. DDP got a day job. Look, man, we do this for the love, but dog, we'll be so much better.
Right.
We'll be so
right.
much better. Like I break down film on my channel. I try to get big names out first, but I don't always get to everybody because I got a day job. If this was my day job,
right. They just don't know, Vach.
We would analyze anybody y'all would want.
Don't know. They just don't know, Vach. They just don't know.
Undrafted guys, these third string guys, be like, "Hey, Vach, we brought in some kid from the Panthers today. What you think about it?" We'll have full in-depth commentary.
Yes.
But we got day job. So if you just support us, peep this out. Patreon take $2 out my bank account every month. I don't even see it gone. I don't even know it's missing. If we can get 5,000 of y'all to just give us $1. We can make this thing what y'all really wanted to be, and y'all wouldn't even know. The smallest support from y'all leaps and bounds for us. You know what I mean? So everybody that's on this panel got a Patreon, man. Support those that you really care about, because those big name guys, they get checks regardless. They get big money regardless. They get big money to lie to y'all.
Preach.
Right.
Support who you listen to, man. That's it.
Yeah, you telling some real. Can I say shit?
Go ahead.
Just speaking some real shit right now. Preaching. I don't know if you go preaching and shit together, but damn, that was some good ass. That was just some good fire. I felt every minute of it, and you're just speaking the truth, dog. We do this for the love. Like, we do this. You need to. Just like you're saying, Vach, you're gonna get it the real if you give it to us. If you really just support us, you're gonna get y'all what y'all want. We're gonna give y'all what y'all want. We're going to give y'all what y'all want. Facts.
Shannon Sharp come on TV every day and skip. And he has to find a way to be anti-skip. And he sounds stupid doing it.
Right.
When me and James was raising our voice at each other, we came from a real opposite side of the table. And that made for a great, what was that, 6 minutes? That was a great 6 minutes of this show, man, because we really felt strongly about our perspective. You know, just support who's bringing y'all to real and not who's lying to y'all.
And support who cares. For real.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, real, authentic, man. You guys know how it goes, and you guys know where to find us. And that's been my time. I really thank you guys for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. We're out. Peace.
That's been my time. I appreciate you for doing this.